This is Channel 4 with the 24th Super Bowl.
Live from the Louisiana Superdome, New Orleans, this is Super Bowl 24. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. It's Super Bowl 24. Every player and coach that's ever been associated with the NFL has dreamed of participating in this, the final match of the NFL season. The site of today's big game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Denver Broncos is the Superdome in New Orleans, where the noise from over 70,000 fans will be deafening, hence the need for these headsets. And joining me for tonight's match are two men who are well aware of just how important a victory is to both these teams. Walter Payton, the NFL's all-time leading rusher, and Don Shula, a man who has more wins under his belt than any other coach in the NFL. Welcome, guys.
Yeah.
Walter, you had to wait 11 years in the NFL before you played in a Super Bowl. What did that mean to you?
I'll tell you what, the previous year we lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the championship game, and I felt that that was it. That was my last shot at ever getting into a Super Bowl. And we dedicated the next season to getting into the Super Bowl. And I tell you what, it meant everything to my career, because even though you don't look at it as, well, if you don't win the Super Bowl, you had a dismal career. But for me, I wanted to be there to participate, just to have the feeling of what it was.
Was it just participating, or was winning? Was winning the main thing?
At one time, I just wanted to get there because I never thought I would. I never thought about winning. But then once I got there, I said winning was everything.
Coach Shula, you have been to 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, more than any other coach in the history of the game. Now, your first one was obviously exciting. Was the 6th one as exciting?
No question about it. The 6th one was more exciting. And I know a little bit about winning and losing Super Bowls because we won 2 and lost 4. So there are 2 teams in Super Bowl week, and during the week, both of them are talked about the same way. Glowing reports about both football teams. When the game's over, there's only one winner, and the other team goes back home and waits for next year. But the excitement all week long is there. The way that the game has grown, I remember we were in Super Bowl III, and the press conferences used to be held in the lobby of the hotel with maybe 20 or 30 writers at the press conference. Now, they're held in big ballrooms all during the week, You have thousands of writers there from all over the world, so there's been a big difference in the popularity of the game.
It's definitely grown a lot in the last few years. But a Super Bowl isn't only significant to players and coaches. Over 120 million viewers will watch this game live in America alone, and millions more will join them from around the world. Traditionally in Britain, Super Bowl games have attracted our largest audiences, and many of you will be watching American football for the first time tonight. So while all you armchair quarterbacks run and make a quick cuppa, Gary Imlach, our own first-year man, will give all you rookies out there a quick run through the basic rules of the game.
The basic aim is to get the ball into the opponent's end zone. A team has 4 attempts or downs to move the ball 10 yards. Throughout the game, you'll see and hear references to how a team is doing in its attempt to get those 10 yards. So a team that's first and 10 is having its first go at making those 10 yards. If, as in this example, it manages to make 5 yards in that attempt, it's now on a 2nd and 5. In other words, the second attempt with 5 yards still left to make. Here they manage another 4, so they're on a 3rd and 1, as this is the 3rd down, and they still need another yard to reach the magic 10. If a team fails to reach 10 yards, their opponents take over. So on a 4th attempt, you'll usually see the team kick the ball as far upfield as they can, so that their opponents start their sequence deep in their own half. There are only 4 ways of scoring. A touchdown is worth 6 points. There are 2 ways of scoring a touchdown: running the ball across the line or catching it inside the end zone. A point after touchdown is rather like a conversion in rugby, and it's worth 1 point. If a team runs out of downs within a reasonable distance of the end zone, it may try a field goal worth 3 points. A very rare way of scoring is a safety, which is rather like an own goal in soccer. It happens if an offensive player is tackled in his own end zone and scores 2 points for the other team.
Well, I hope that helped you all. Believe me, it does get easier as you tie it in with the game. Other than the match itself, there's a tremendous amount of hype that goes into the build-up to this game. So he sent Gary on a mission to catalogue the host city's preparations and welcoming parties for all the folks involved in Super Bowl 24.
The most influential sports reporters in the country are here for the Super Bowl.
Not to mention the most influential reporters from the rest of the world. The Super Bowl is a made-for-television special like only the Americans can make them.
From that other end and see if we can come in this way.
Everything about it is carefully rehearsed, including the game itself, so CBS can get its camera angles right. Although naturally the stars have stand-ins. In this case, the local high school players of the Jesuit Blue Jays, with Joey Caballero starring as the young John Elway.
It's big. I mean, I'm not going to forget it. I know that.
When we walked up the runway and walked onto the field, we looked up. It was like we were dazed. It was just amazing.
But that was the only respite from the cameras John Elway got all week, from the moment he stepped off the plane to the night he went out for a quiet drink with a few dozen photographers. In fact, there are more than 2,000 journalists in town, and players can actually be fined for not talking to them. As a result, they have to put up with probing on subjects ranging from their fitness to their favourite singer.
Janet Jackson.
Back at the NFL Media Center, where staff from New Orleans Library are on hand to help, the questions get even stranger.
What's the full name of Tito of Yugoslavia?
What's the relevance of that to the Super Bowl?
I don't know. He didn't share that with us.
As reporting assignments go, though, the Super Bowl is more feet on the desk than foot in the door journalism. Reporters are spoon-fed information in daily press releases. If they occasionally find it hard to digest, it's probably because they're busy digesting anything that doesn't move. In Super Bowl week, the right press credentials can be a free meal ticket. And when it comes to the big NFL party, journalistic priorities can get slightly confused.
Which would you rather have, tickets to the game or tickets to the party?
Both. The fans, at least, are here for the football and not shy about sharing their predictions for Sunday's game.
Niners ride, Broncos!
Sunday night they die.
49ers, we declare this to be 49er land. We're here to get serious. We're here to win the game.
As a precaution, though, both sets of fans seem to have started their post-game celebrations early. see, the party is still going on. It's just moved from the French Quarter down to the streets around the Superdome, which have been filling up with Broncos and 49ers fans since early this morning. The weather's fine, not that it matters back inside, of course. The atmosphere is even better, and all we need now, Mick, is a game which provides as much excitement as the festivities leading up to it.
Well, the people in New Orleans, Gary, definitely know how to party, and I hope that in the Dome today we're going to have a party of football. Right now it's time for a break. When we return, we'll take a quick look at the Broncos and 49ers road to the Super Bowl, and we'll hear more from Walter Payton and Coach Don Shula. Welcome back, everybody. Coach Shula, you've been in town a few days now. How have you enjoyed the party atmosphere of New Orleans?
There's always something to do in New Orleans. They're open all night down in the French Quarter. A lot of great food, great entertainment, excitement. What you have to do is figure out a way to lose weight, because you know that you're going to eat a lot and drink a little bit more than you should. So I try to get up early in the morning and jog and get some of those calories off.
Have you eaten some of that crawfish?
No question, the crawfish and the gumbo. Gumbo's my favorite. That's a mixture of all these different kinds of fish and shrimp and everything else. But that's the dish that's really famous here in New Orleans.
Well, they certainly know how to eat down here and cook. And Walter, you had a huge bash the other night, and you were hoping to be celebrating perhaps in the future. What was that all about?
Well, what we're doing was we're bringing the people from St. Louis down, the politicians and some of the people that are in the key positions that could help us facilitate this franchise deal that we're trying to get by going ahead and agreeing to build a Dome Stadium. And we invited all the owners and the people from different NFL organizations in, and we just had a good old-fashioned Cajun hoedown, as they call it.
So you are hoping to become what?
An NFL owner. I want to be like Eddie DeBarlo out there.
Well, I hope you get it. It'll be nice to get your perspective among the 28 owners that are there right now. Well, although there's differing opinions on who's going to win today, it's fairly well agreed that both the 49ers and Broncos, both of whom finished the regular season with the best record in their respective conferences, deserve to be here. To see why, let's now take a look at how they arrived. The 49ers started their season with 3 away games. After beating Indianapolis, they found themselves losing to Tampa Bay inside the last minute of the game.
On the board, here's Montana. He'll run for it, and he scores.
That comeback was nothing compared to the following week against Philadelphia.
Montana gets rid of it. John Taylor. He's flying. There are no flags down. Touchdown. Deep route for Rice. Caught, touchdown! Oh, my gracious!
Joe Montana threw 4 late touchdown passes to give the 49ers another come-from-behind victory. In Week 4, San Francisco met the unbeaten Los Angeles Rams. In a tight game, Mike Lansford's field goal dealt the 49ers their first defeat of the season. San Francisco soon recovered by beating the Saints with one of the year's most controversial touchdowns.
Was he across the plane and still in control of the football? Across the plane of the goal line. There he is. He starts to spike. Whoa! Whoa!
The earthquake in California forced San Francisco to play New England at nearby Sanford Stadium due to damage to Candlestick Park. But the move didn't upset their routine as backup quarterback Steve Young led them to victory. And the following week, believe it or not, it was third stringer Steve Bono's turn. San Francisco cruised by New Orleans and Atlanta before their 6-game winning streak surprisingly came to an end. The Packers beat the 49ers 21-17, but as with their earlier loss, San Francisco bounced right back the following week.
Montana on a roll and a fake. Chase and then throw. Touchdown by Taylor. A great catch in the end zone. Whoa, boy.
This is the best offensive football team I have seen in a long time. It's a machine.
The machine then rolled over Atlanta again before finding itself 17-0 down against the Rams. But as Los Angeles found out, don't ever discount the 49ers.
And Montana throws it wide open at the 20-yard line is Taylor with the defensive back falling down. Newman can't make the tackle. Taylor is inside the 30, inside the 20, inside the 10. Touchdown San Francisco. As Taylor makes the catch, eludes Irvin, eludes Newman, chased by Kelm. Down the sidelines he goes. He ran 92 for a touchdown before. He's in again.
Oh, this is a very weird game.
Weird indeed. That crazy win sealed the NFC Western Divisional crown. In the playoffs, the 49ers flew past the Vikings.
Over the middle, Brock, watch out. The race is on. It's Jerry Rice. One man to beat.
San Francisco won easily 41-13, and the following week, the Rams were their victims once again.
Montana for the bubble to Taylor. Touchdown.
The 49ers cruised through 30-3 to qualify for their second consecutive Super Bowl. The Denver Broncos opened the season at home against AFC Western Division rivals Kansas City, and it wasn't an outstanding day for John Elway, who threw 2 interceptions. The Chiefs quarterback Steve DeBerg answered with 2 of his own, both resulting in touchdowns.
The pass is intercepted. Big play.
Final, Kansas City 20, Denver 34. Week 2 found Denver in Buffalo, where David Treadwell started campaigning for a Pro Bowl bid with 4 field goals. This one a 24-yarder.
And Treadwell does it again.
Denver won 28-14. The following week, they went 3-0 with a win at home against the Raiders. Next on the schedule, arch rival Cleveland on the road and problems with the infamous dog pound. After numerous Denver players were hit with dog bones and eggs, referee Tom Dooley decided to have the teams change ends.
Flying debris, we're going to change ends in the field. Third down.
And with that change, it gave Cleveland the win advantage, enabling Matt Barr to kick this 48-yard field goal as time ran out. Denver suffers its first defeat, 13-16, and goes to 3-1. For the next 3 weeks, the Broncos got back on track, beating San Diego, Indianapolis, and Seattle. Week 8 found them at home in the cold against Randall Cunningham and the Eagles. But Elway found plenty of heat from the Eagles' defense. Sacked 7 times and throwing 3 interceptions, he said after the game, they've got good people up front on defense. They confuse you. Confused enough to give Denver its second loss, 28-24, bringing their record to 6-2. But again, after a defeat, they bounced right back with big wins over Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Washington, and Seattle to bring their record to 10-2 and clinch a playoff spot. Next, it was Los Angeles and Raiders' new head coach, Art Shell, where the Broncos played in their second overtime of the season. This one they lost 16-13. Next up, the Giants at home in the snow and cold. But big plays like this 57-yard touchdown pass to Dave Meggett gave the Giants an early 14-0 lead.
Meggett could be gone. On 31. Touchdown and no flags anywhere.
They went on to win 14-7 and bring Denver's record to 10-4. But with a playoff spot and home field advantage already secured, it really didn't matter. In their next 2 games, they crushed the Phoenix Cardinals 39-0 and lost to San Diego 16-19. So now the stage was set for the January 7th playoff with the much improved Steelers. And after a 2-week layoff, John Elway and his heavily favored Broncos found themselves in big trouble against the born-again Pittsburgh team. And it wasn't until late in the game that they took the lead and won by the narrowest of margins, 24-23. So now it was Cleveland again for the conference championship, and it was close until the third quarter.
Elway throws on first down to Mobley. Touchdown. Winder on the handoff, sweeping outside. Touchdown. Down the middle, wide open is Winder. Sammy Winder. All the way, touchdown. 3 times in 4 years. The Denver Broncos best of the AFC.
Well, John was smiling after the conference championship, but he's lost twice in Super Bowls. Coach Schuler, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the 2 coaches in this game. 2 different people, one veteran, one rookie. Seifert under Walsh for 10 years. Coach Reeves under Landry for a long time in Dallas. Do they bring 2 different philosophies to the game?
Very much so, but they both had great training. As you mentioned, Reeves under Landry, and then Bill Walsh being the head coach that won the Super Bowl last year with Seifert as an assistant. I know how Dan Reeves feels. He's 0-2 right now as a Super Bowl head coach. I started out my career 0-2 as a Super Bowl head coach, and I didn't want to go 0-3. So I know the pressure that's on Dan Reeves. He doesn't want to be known as a coach that can't win the big football game. He's going to have his football team ready to play. George Seifert, on the other hand, was a very, very good assistant coach under Bill Walsh. He hasn't tried to change a lot of things. They're pretty much doing the same things that they did under Walsh. He's giving them maybe a little bit more freedom. Montana at the line of scrimmage. But Seifert knows what's going on. He has the respect of the players, and they're playing hard. They want to win this for Seifert.
Well, we'll be talking a lot more about the coaches as the game goes on. But, Walter, I want to now come to you. The Denver Broncos have lost 2 games in the Super Bowl, but they're bringing something that they haven't brought before, a running game. Talk to us a little bit about their running game.
Well, their running game is very much improved from it was last year, but the only problem with it this year is their guy, Bobby Humphrey, has sore ribs, and it's going to be hard for him to really play up to his potential for the whole game. You see, when you have a guy like him who has that versatility, the strength, the size, and the speed, it makes the job very easy for Elway because they know they can't key on the passing game. No team has ever won the Super Bowl that hasn't had a balanced running and passing attack.
And you say that it helps the passing game. And, Coach, I'm going to come to you with John Elway. You obviously have a great quarterback down in Miami and Dan Marino. How good is John Elway?
Well, Elway came out of that same class of quarterbacks. They all came out of college together. Elway was the first player taken in the draft. And the reason that he was the first player taken in the draft is that he has so much athletic ability. Here he is on what they call a quarterback draw. He's up like he's going to pass, and then it's a designed running play with a blocking taking place in front of him. He's like a running back when he has the football under his arm and running with it. So he can make things happen running with the football. He has probably the strongest arm of all the quarterbacks in the National Football League. He could throw it a long way, 70, 75, 80 yards down the field. And he also is a quarterback that can make things happen by coming out of the pocket and avoiding tacklers and then throwing the ball across the field. One of the great throws, this is in the championship game here last week, where he throws it across his body, a very tough throw for a quarterback to make, over the head of the defensive back, Minifield from Cleveland, and into the hands of the receiver. I think that Elway played his best football game as a quarterback in the National Football League last week. He's going to have to play that kind of a football game here today for Denver to have a chance to win it.
That's right. A lot of people have said that he doesn't have the touch of a great quarterback, but he really showed there that he does. And if you remember, Kozar quickly then threw an interception trying to throw a similar pass. Now, Walter, we just saw Johnson making that catch. They also have some pretty good receivers up there in Denver.
Well, they have some real good receivers. They don't get the publicity that the rest of the guys get, like the guys from the 49ers, but they're consistent. Elway is very comfortable with them, and you can tell in the passing attack how he utilizes them. He has the outs that he goes to, the deep outs, and these guys are not afraid to come across the middle either.
They've also, Coach, they've got a defense, and something new has come in there with their new coach, but they've also got some players.
Right. They do have a new coach, and he's done an excellent job. What they do is play a containing type of defense, and they give you a look that's always the same. So when Montana comes up to the line of scrimmage, he's going to see these 4 across people in the secondary, and then he's going to have to make a decision after the ball snapped as to whether or not it's a man-to-man type of coverage or whether they're zoning off. Of course, nobody's better at doing that than Montana. But Wade Phillips has done a good job with this defensive football team, and you're going to see one of the reasons that they're here, he's brought them from 26th in the league to 3rd in the league on team defense.
That's right, and one thing that their defensive backs are going to do, Walter, they're going to hit you. And the man they're hoping to hit is a man named Jerry Rice that has had 17 touchdowns this year, which is only 4 less than the entire offense of the Denver Broncos. How good is Jerry Rice?
Well, I don't even think Jerry has reached his full potential yet. He still can get better than what he is because he has so much raw and innate ability that a lot of times he doesn't work as hard, or he doesn't apply himself as hard until he's being pushed by someone else, or until he's frustrated, or somebody shuts him down. But if he puts his mind to it, I tell you what, there will be somebody walking around with an eraser taking out all the records in the receiving category because they'll be placing his name beside him.
Okay, well, they're great receivers. Then on defense, they've got a fellow named Ronnie Lott. But that's really the Knights. Then you've got Joe Montana, the king. How good is he?
He's having the best year of any quarterback in the history of the National Football League as far as percentage of completions, and he's really at the top of his game. He's won Super Bowls before. He has the confidence that he can do it. Here you can see that he's an excellent athlete outside the pocket. Great vision. He can spot receivers down the field, and then when he throws the ball, he throws it with accuracy. Better accuracy than anybody else has ever had. So Montana, too, like Elway, is a quarterback that can move around and throw the football. His arm isn't as close to being as strong as Elway's, but he has all of these other things going for him, including the ability to run when he has to. So both quarterbacks can do everything that you would want a quarterback to do.
Well, we've just been talking about the 49ers. They've also got a couple of others like Craig and Rathman. And to see them being introduced, let's now go down to the field.
And now let's meet the starting offense for the San Francisco 49ers. At 6'1", 185, he caught the winning touchdown in last year's Super Bowl. At wide receiver from Delaware State, number 82, John Taylor. At 6'6" and 299, starting his second Super Bowl at left tackle from Michigan, number 77, Bubba Parris. At 6'3", 265, starting his second Super Bowl at left guard from Georgia, number 62, Guy McIntyre. At 6'4", 260, starting his second Super Bowl at center from Hawaii, number 61, Jesse Sapolu. At 6'6", 275, making his first Super Bowl start at right guard from Texas Arlington, number 69. I want this shit! 6'4", 280, making his second Super Bowl start. Right tackle from North Carolina, number 79, Harris Barton. 6'4", 230, making his first Super Bowl start at tight end from Santa Clara, number 84, Brent Jones. At 6'2" and 200, the most valuable player in last year's Super Bowl, wide receiver from Mississippi Valley State, number 80, Jerry Rice. At 6'2", 195, a two-time Super Bowl most valuable player, the quarterback from Notre Dame, number 16, Joe Montana. At 6 feet, 214 pounds, he holds the single-game Super Bowl record for touchdowns with 3 in Super Bowl 19 at running back from Nebraska, number 33, Roger Craig. At At 6'1", 232, he led all NFC running backs in receptions this year with 73. At running back from Nebraska, number 44, Tom Rathman. And the head coach with the most wins of any head coach in his first season, George Seifert. Let's now welcome the champions of the American Football Conference, the Denver Broncos. And now let's meet the starting defense for the Denver Broncos. At 6'6" and 272, playing in his first Super Bowl at left end from Florida State, number 92, Alfonso Carricker. At 6'3" and 265, he'll be making his first Pro Bowl appearance at nose tackle from Utah State, number 71, Greg Tragan. At 6'4" and 265, he had a career high in quarterback sacks this year with 9. At right end from Washington, number 90, Ron Holmes. At 6'1", 235, making his first Super Bowl start at left outside linebacker from LSU, number 56, Michael Brooks. At the other linebacker for the Denver Broncos, Rick Dennison, number 55. At 6'3", 240, in the Pro Bowl this season for the fourth time in 5 years. And right inside linebacker from Minnesota, number 77, Carl Mecklenburg. At 6'5", 240, he led the Broncos in quarterback sacks this season with 12. At right outside linebacker from Houston, number 73, Simon Fletcher. .5'11", 185. He led the Broncos in interceptions this season with 6. Left cornerback from North Dakota State, number 34, Tyrone Austin. At 5'10", 186, starting his first Super Bowl at right cornerback from Nevada, Las Vegas, number 24, Wyman Henderson. At 6 feet 3 inches, 200 pounds, he'll be making his third Pro Bowl appearance. The Broncos' defensive MVP this season at strong safety from the University of Southern California, number 49, Dennis Smith. At 6'3", 217 pounds, as a rookie, he led the Broncos in solo tackles this season. At free safety from Arkansas, number 27, Steve Atwater. And the head coach, making an NFL record 8th appearance in a Super Bowl as a player and a coach, Dan Reeves.
Well, now you've seen the faces of the men that are about to go to war. Join us after this break for the kickoff of Super Bowl 24. Welcome back. For those of you that have just joined me, I have Walter Payton with me, the leading rusher in the history of the NFL, and Don Shula, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Walter, we just saw the players being introduced. You've been down on the field. You've been in that situation. What's that like, and who looked the most relaxed?
Well, that could be misleading as well. If you're too relaxed, then the other team comes out more fired up than you, and it puts you at a disadvantage. If you're too fired up, then you come in and you do things overly aggressive. You don't do things natural, and then you make a lot of mistakes. I think both of these teams were about even.
They're about even going into the game. I wish I had had the opportunity to know what that feels like. You both have. Let's now go to the field for the national anthem.
To honor America, here to perform our national anthem is New Orleans' own Grammy nominee, Aaron Neville.
What's so proudly at the twilight's last gleaming through broad stripes and bright stars through the endless sky. Oh, the rapidly white was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket red cloud upon first thing in there gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, make the sparrows
Well, guys, it's now time to put your predictions out there for everyone to hear in Britain. Coach Shula, you first.
Well, it's tough to pick against the 49ers, but I'm going to. I think Denver's got a chance to win. They've got to play a perfect game. The 49ers got to make some mistakes.
Walter?
The way I look at it, if Elway proposes a big enough problem for the 49ers, Denver has a chance to win. But if they don't have that running game to take some of the pressure off of Elway, it's going to be the 49ers. So I didn't say who was going to win, but maybe 49ers.
You're going with 49ers. Coach, you give Denver a chance. Why?
I just think that Elway has got so much talent that he could put some points on the board. I think that Denver's defense is better. The 49ers, if they play like they've been playing, they're unbeatable. But if they make some mistakes and they're not quite ready to play, I think Denver's got a chance to win it.
Walter, 49ers, their offense, can they keep moving like they have against the Minnesota Vikings, like they have against the Rams? Are they going to do that today and win by a lot?
Well, I don't think they cover the spread. And the spread is 12 points. I think it's going to be a much closer game. But we'll be able to tell how the game is going to go by the end of the first quarter. Because if San Francisco gets up ahead and then Denver has to go into a passing game, it's going to play right into San Francisco's hand. But I hope that the running game of Denver is there, because if that's there, then it should be a whole different ball game.
Well, it's like you said earlier, Bobby Humphries has an injury to his ribs. Let's hope that he plays well. Right now, we're going down to the field for the coin toss. it'll be Pat Summerall and John Madden that'll give us uninterrupted coverage of Super Bowl 24.
This, I think, John, is one of the most difficult times in participating in a Super Bowl. The long wait after you leave the locker room to get to the field to get on with the content.
Well, you know, when you really think of it, Pat, it's been about 40 minutes since the warm-up. They would come out, warm up, and then go in, and then come back and have to stand out here.
At midfield to toss the commemorative coin are the 1989 Hall of Fame inductees, Terry Bradshaw, Art Shell, Mel Blount, and Willie Wood. Joining them are the San Francisco and Denver team captains. The referee for today's game, Dick Jorgensen, will now conduct the coin toss ceremony.
San Francisco, you are the visiting team and will be calling the toss. This is the commemorative coin. This side is heads. This side is tails. This side is heads. This side is tails. Denver, who will be your spokesman? 54 will be the spokesman. Mr. Montana, would you please call the toss in the air? Willie Wood, will you represent your fellow inductees into the Hall of Fame and toss the coin? Go ahead and toss it, call it in the air. Tails is called. Heads it is. Denver, you will receive. Which goal will you defend that goal? Denver has won the toss, will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
So we'll see John Elway and the Denver offense first. And that has to encourage them already.
You know, anytime in a big game, I always like to lose the coin toss and let my defense go out there and play first.
Let's get a quick comment from the sideline and Will McDonough.
Yeah, Pat, I think the big thing down here so far is San Francisco out here is trying to pull the psych job. They've been quiet, understated, as if to say to Denver, listen, we're the champions, and this is no big deal. Now let's go to Herb Cross on the Denver bench.
Well, Earl Leggett, the defensive line coach of the Broncos, gave me a little insight to their game plan. He said, today we're going to be aggressive. We're going to attack. The only way to beat Montana is to get him out of his 1-2-3 rhythm. We've had great practices this week, and we're ready to put the heat on him. Pat, John?
All right, Herb. We thank you both. You like to be on defense, huh, John?
I think so. I always think in a big game, you don't have to get your guys pumped up. They're usually too pumped up. So if you're playing with a pumped up group, you'd rather have your kickoff team playing and your defense first. Because I'll tell you, John Elway is so pumped up and he is so strong that he could throw a 20-yard pass. He could throw it 50 yards the first time he throws it.
Well, Carrington and Bell will be back deep for the Broncos. And Mike Cofer will kick it off for the 49ers. Very strong leg. And Super Bowl 24 about to get underway. I said earlier, John Madden and I have been here 10 days, and we're about as psyched up as anybody.
Dan Reeves was saying, I just can't wait to get this thing started. I think everyone feels that way.
Line drive, kickoff handle at the goal line by Bell. To about the 23, tripped up by Steve Hendrickson. 49ers will take over. Beg your pardon, the Broncos will start it. John Elway, the quarterback of whom John Madden was just speaking, 2-0 against the 49ers. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 23. Orson Mobley will be starting at tight end instead of Clarence Kay. Steve Sewell split wide to the left. That's a new wrinkle. Bobby Humphrey is the lone setback. Elway to throw it. through it. Intended for Mark Jackson. Let's look at the 49er defense. They start with a three-man front that changes from time to time. Hope, Michael Carter starting, and Kevin Fagan up front. Haley, Millen, Walter, and Turner, the linebackers. And in the secondary, Pollard, Griffin, Ronnie Lott, Chet Brooks, the two safeties, and Eric Wright and Tim McKyer when they go with the extra defensive back. Melvin Bratton in the backfield now, this time with Humphrey. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Fake to Humphrey. Elway misses again. And I think you said something quite correct in the beginning, John. He's so pumped up that those first two passes have been overthrown and just not close.
That's right, and eventually he'll get in some kind of rhythm in this game, but you hate to have to come out first and do it in a big game like this, and then your first two plays are passes, and that is a very tough thing to do.
Brings up 3rd and 10. Sewell in the shotgun formation with Elway. Haley forced Elway out of the pocket, and he was taken down by Pierce Hope. And the Broncos fail on their first possession, and they'll have to punt.
I think those were the things the 49ers wanted to do. Good defense the first time they get in the shotgun. Not only put pressure on Elway, but keep him contained.
Horan, left-footed punter, high to John Taylor. Bearcat. About the 34-yard line, the 49ers will take over from there as a scuffle broke out on the other side of the field. 40-yard kick. Here comes Joe Montana. And has he been spectacular of late? Almost perfection. In front of him, an offensive line of Bubba Paris, McIntyre, Sapolo, Bruce Colley, Harris Barton. The tight end is Brett Jones. The formidable backfield of Roger Craig and Tom Rathman, and the two magnificent wide receivers, Rice and Taylor. Rice on the move. Fake to Craig. Montana overthrows Brent Jones. Steve Atwater made the contact. Here's the defense for Denver. Carricker, Cragen, and Holmes up front. The linebackers Brooks, Dennison, Mecklenburg, and Fletcher. And a tough secondary, particularly the safeties of Atwater and Smith, with Braxton and Henderson, the cornerbacks. And when they need 6, it's Robbins and Corrington. Rathman is out and Terrence Flagler is in. That's Flagler in motion. To Craig. Roger Craig to midfield. Knocked out of bounds by Wyman Henderson. Rice with a good block.
The other guy that got a good block was the right tackle, Harris Barton. Again, that's just counter play. Watch number 79 pull out here. Right there. See 79? He's going to come and make the block right there on Mecklenburg, the first block. Then he gets another linebacker. Harris Barton formed that lane for Roger Craig.
That's artwork for an offensive lineman. Montana back to throw it. Incomplete. Intended for Roger Craig.
You know, the 49ers with Mike Holmgren, now they script only their first 15 plays. And then Mike Holmgren told us, and Joe Montana said, that in the first 5 specifically, they would like to get the ball to Jerry Rice. This is what, the 4th play coming up?
Right. 2nd and 10 from the Denver 49. Roger Craig. Got maybe a couple stopped by Ron Holmes. Roger Craig had the flu, missed an entire day of practice earlier in the week, lost 9 pounds.
Hey, he went from 214 to 205. He was wearing a sweatsuit yesterday and was showing how baggy it was. It just hung on him like a sack. He said that maybe he'll be quicker. He feels strong, but I think the big test for Craig will be in the second half.
This will be a good test right here for the Denver secondary. 4 wide receivers for the 49ers. Screen pass, Craig. Stopped by Atwater, but it should be close to a first down. A pickup of 9 it is. First down, San Francisco.
Yeah, one of the things that had the Broncos so concerned was Roger Craig, but the first guy missing him. He said that they have looked at film, and Roger Craig makes the first tackler miss him more than any back they've seen. And then that's why they get so many big plays, because not only does Roger Craig do it, that's the same thing their ends do. Atwater is the linebacker in the Broncos nickel. He had Craig all the way, man-to-man.
And Craig just got away from it. First down, 49ers. Montana go to work again. Rice. Close to another 49er first down. Tyrone Braxton was the first man to hit him. 9-yard gain, caller.
See how many Broncos were on that tackle, though? That's one of the things that the Broncos want to do defensively. They know that Rice is going to catch some pass, and Craig are going to get his plays, and John Taylor. But the minute they catch a pass, they want to be there to knock it away or make the tackle. Don't let them take that little one and make a big one out of it.
Second and 1. In motion. The ball carrier hit behind the line of scrimmage and knocked backwards by Brooks and Carragher.
Mike Brooks is that strong side linebacker. Watch him. He is up here at the end there. Now he is going to come. He's coming on a blitz, so he gets penetration. Rathman misses a block. You don't see a lot of Rathman misses. But when he missed him, Michael Brooks was right there for the tackle and the loss.
That makes it 3rd and 4. Extra defensive backs in the game for Denver. Rice started in motion. Montana has to come out of it. And slides for another 49er first down at about the 22-yard line. A pickup of 10.
You know, anytime you give a quarterback a lane to run in for a first down, he has to take it. Watch this lane. We stop it right there. You see the big hole there. You look at this hole, the lane here. Now Montana knows if he can get to here, he has the first down. That's what happens when your pass rushers get out of their pass rush lane.
First and 10 at the 22. No score yet. Off play to Craig to the 20. Simon Fletcher brought it down.
When the team gets to the 20-yard line, the 20-yard line in, that's called the red zone. Now the 49ers feel that the Broncos, one of the best things they do is play defense in this area. A lot of times they'll rush 3 and they'll drop 8 guys. So they figure that rather than passing in this zone, they think they can have more success running.
Second and 8. Typical 49er drive. Montana looks to Rathman, hits Rice. Rice scores for San Francisco. Didn't take long.
Another one of those Joe Montana drives. Jerry Rice, the big play. And the thing, Denver did the thing they said they couldn't do. When they catch the ball, you got to tackle them. They didn't.
And one of their best tacklers is the one who hit Rice and bounced off, Atwater. Hofer for the extra point. Held and holding. And the 49ers take the early lead after a 10-play drive. San Francisco 7, Denver nothing.
Yeah,
66 yards. Touchdown pass from Montana to Rice from 20 yards out, and they kept the ball 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Typical Joe Montana 49er drive, as John Madden said.
Earl Liggett was there talking to the defense of the Broncos, and he's telling them that we have to get our hands up and take care of those pass rush lanes, because they did when Montana ran and picked up a first down. Then on the touchdown pass, no pass rush whatsoever.
Bell and Carrington back deep, and that's Carrington with the ball. Hit, knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line by Romanowski.
Let's watch the touchdown again, Pat, and we'll see Jerry Rice is here, and he's going to come right in here to the middle and uncover. Montana gets back. He tries to throw to the right, can't find anyone, and comes later to right. Watch him. He's even going to come on a little roll to the right. And then he looks and looks and looks, but look at the pass protection he has. Look at the time he can look all the way up. Then Rice uncovered. Now 1, 2 missed tackles.
And that you cannot do. Elway with a shovel pass up through to Humphrey. Bobby Humphrey almost broke it. Ronnie Lott finally tripped it up. Pick up a 28, playing with 2-track ribs. But they didn't bother him then.
Bobby Humphrey has added so much to this Bronco offense. They've always been a passing team, and then John Elway, but when they got Humphrey, they got a runner. They got a 1,000-yard runner. I'll tell you, the two guys that love him, one is Elway, because it takes the pressure off him. The other one's the entire offensive line.
1st and 10. Back. Now they say no. It's a forward pass. And it's just an incomplete pass.
You know, this stuff really isn't trickery. For most teams, you would call these trick plays. For the Broncos, this is part of their basic offense. It's just called the shovel pass. Here, he shovels. Humphrey isn't looking, and the shovel hits him right in the back.
Shovel too quick.
Yeah, or Humphrey looked too late.
2nd and 10 from the San Francisco 47. Larry Kenny in the game. Here's Humphrey again. Close to a Denver first down. Stopped by Chet Brooks and Tina Turner.
You know, I like what Humphrey is doing there. He's breaking through the hole. Now watch the pass protection here. They start to pass protect, make them rush. Then that gives holes for a delay for the running game. See, when the defense is going to take off after Elway, then they can give that delay play or draw play to Bobby Humphrey. That's what he's been so effective on all year.
And he got another Bronco first down. Humphrey moves out. Terrence Kay is the tight end. Humphrey again. Stopped by Michael Walter and Chet Brooks again.
I think this is why the Broncos were so concerned about Kay being able to play. Watch him, number 88 here. You see how he could block Tina Turner. He just gets him knocked out. Kay was the guy who created that hole for Bobby Humphrey.
Elway was saying yesterday that this guy is the better blocker. Mobley perhaps a better receiver. 2nd and 4.
I think if Humphrey played, you would rather have Kay in there.
In motion. Draw play, Humphrey again. Picked up 3, so that leaves about a yard short. Another Bronco first down.
You know, the Broncos run about 75% of their plays are draw plays. I was talking to Bobby Humphrey, remember, in the locker room the other day, and he said that just about all of his plays in this Bronco offense are delay and draw, that type of thing. And with his quickness, that's a great play.
Jim Burt now in the middle of the 49er defensive line. Elway going for the first and got it.
they did a good job there. That Keith Cart and Doug Waddell really take off. Watch the center here. The block, boom, boom. They get this going back, and then they can get the first down. Watch 72, Keith Cart, Doug Waddell. They get that pile going back. John Elway just gets in behind it.
Coach Elway is a big, strong guy. Humphrey now is the lone setback again. Shovel pass again. Elway just bats it down. Third time we run that play. Once it was great, twice it was near disaster.
I know it, and that time he looked like he was going to shovel the ball to Haley. Watch him here. Watch 94. Haley comes in a rush. Watch the shovel here. He's trying to get it to Humphrey. Haley, like a basketball player, just knocks it out of there. Now, Elway says he wants that to be an incomplete pass. He just knocks it down.
So it's 2nd and 10 from the 49er 25. The old T formation. Look at this. Now hopefully comes out here. Elway had authority in the direction of Mosley, but he was under severe pressure.
The thing about John Elway, you can give him severe pressure and he can still get the ball away. Because he's so quick to get the ball away. He's so big and strong that sometimes pass rushers just bounce right off him.
He's just 1 out of 6.
I don't think that he's gotten calmed down yet to play this game.
It surely doesn't look like it.
He has to let a little air out of himself.
In the direction of Mark Jackson, but the 49ers were all over. Don Griffin was the prime defender. With an assist from Tim McKyer.
As you say, that was not all Elway there. That was great defense by the 49ers.
Treadwell will attempt to kick the field goal for the Broncos. With Gary Kubiak holding, this will be 42 yards away. Far enough. And good enough. The Broncos get the scoreboard. So it's 6:47 left to play in the first quarter. The 49ers 7, the Denver Broncos 3. The Crescent City of New Orleans is seen from the MetLife blimp for today's game. The pilots are Mike Fitzpatrick from Newport, Rhode Island, and Captain Corky Belanger from Mesquite, Texas. Too bad they can't see the game. Terrence Flagler back deep for the 49ers. But going to be Flagler at the 4. Brought down by Tyrone Braxton. The story of the Broncos scoring drive, which was finished off with a 42-yard field goal by Treadwell. They kept it 10 plays, went 49 yards, and kept it 3 minutes and 19 seconds.
I think they were able to do that with John Elway just completing 1 out of 7, and that was a shovel pass. Again, Jim Burton, the story continues there. They just keep sewing that jersey tighter and tighter. Remember that short yardage play? He got double teamed. I'm sure he feels he was helped.
He doesn't want to give him anything to grab.
He answered everything, tight in jersey.
Here's Montana flushed out of the pocket. And chased out of bounds by Alfonso Carragher. No gain.
I think that's great Denver defense there. That's what they want to do, is they clamped on the short guy. There was no one for Montana to throw to. So then they scrambled out to the right. Now they have him. Let's just watch it here. And we'll see here, once he starts to throw, you see that back foot hits, now he wants to throw. And look at this Denver defense. They're all on a line here. He has nothing open. So now he had to hold the ball and go again.
Second and 10 at the 18. Fill the hole with Mark Munford as they knock it down.
There's a big key to this 49er defense. Ronnie Lott, kind of the soul of the defense, a real leader of everything. And as Ronnie Lott goes, that 49er defense goes. And he's usually the guy that sets the tempo. He hasn't set the tempo yet because Bobby Humphrey has made some pretty good runs.
And Bobby Humphrey, of course, was one of the big question marks getting into this. Rice and Taylor both come wide to the left. Flagler is the man in the backfield. 4 wide, receiver 7. And Montana again chased out of the pocket. Get through in good place.
Again, great Bronco defense back because they didn't let Montana throw to the first guy he wanted to. Watch what happens. He's going to go back here. Now, what he wants to throw to his right. There's no one open, so he has to bring the ball down and then scramble out to his left and force that ball in there. Good pressure by Simon Fletcher.
Right. Back deep, Vance Johnson is number 82. And Barry Helton, who was a teammate of John Elway at the University of Colorado. A little bit off the side of his foot. Johnson gets up to about midfield, maybe the 48, shot by Johnny Jackson and Keith DeLong. And so the Broncos will take it over in good shape. But the 49ers lead 7-3 with 5:35 by 25 left.
It's now one of the sporting world's biggest annual jamborees, but the way the Super Bowl got its name owed more to a children's toy.
My children each had a ball called a Super Ball, and my daughter was always talking about that ball. It was a highly concentrated rubber ball that you could bounce on concrete, and it would literally bounce over a house, very much like a golf ball would. And she was always talking about that Super Bowl, and I think it was one of those spontaneous things. I just said, you know, the last game, the final game, the Super Bowl.
Well, you learned something new. Well, we're having a ball here right now. Walter, the game has started. The running backs have really taken control, haven't they?
That's true. Montana's looked pretty good, but the running backs are the key. Elway hasn't done very much, but Bobby Humphrey set up the whole position for that Denver offense. And the same thing with Craig. Craig's been able to get outside and pick up first down and pick up yardage. He's almost got 40 yards, and it's already into the first quarter.
Coach, Elway really hasn't been a factor yet, but he started the game with 3 passes. That got them out of the game. Now suddenly they give it to Humphries and it started working.
Well, he looked very nervous on the first 2 passes of the game. He underthrew one, and the second one he threw it too hard, and it was back to the receiver. The only pass that he's hit is that little shovel pass, and that was the big gain to Bobby Humphrey. He's had receivers open. He's not anywhere close to being himself. He's got to get himself under control. He seems nervous, and he hasn't hit the passes that he normally hits.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Elway gets to moving the ball now. So let's go back to the field. It's Broncos possession.
A little homework being done on the Denver sideline. The man holding the pen is Charlie Waters, who was, of course, an outstanding defensive back years ago, not too many years ago, as a matter of fact, with the Dallas Cowboys. First down, Denver, their own 48. Pat Summerall with John Madden, Super Bowl number 24. 2 tight ends set up for Denver. Bratton comes in motion, and the handoff is to Humphrey. Ball's loose. 49ers have it. Recovered by Chet Brooks.
That's a big play for the 49ers here because the Broncos just scored on their last possession with the field goal. Had good field position here. That was one of the things I think they were worried with Bobby Humphrey. If he plays, will that extra protection on his rib, will that cause him to fumble? Because when you put the ball up against that extra protection, you can't feel it against your body. I don't know that that's what caused it, but that is a concern coming into the game.
It certainly looked like the ball just slid out of there. This is Ratman. Here about the Bronco 40-yard line. Stopped by Mecklenburg. A gain of 14, a flag on the play.
Yeah, that's a big play by the officials there. That was a big play with the 49er defense. That one by the officials. Tom Rathman told me yesterday he loves to play in the Silverdome.
Holding, number 61, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
That's the first penalty of the game. It's against the center for the 49ers. Jesse Sapolu. Matt Millen. You know that's not a payphone.
Oh, Matt's telling him what they did on that play and what he did and where Humphrey ran.
Montana to right. And they get most of it back. Knocked down by Dennis Smith.
Jerry Rice is almost a perfect athlete. I mean, just the way he runs and moves and catches and then runs after he catches. His toughness going inside, outside. Watch, the minute he catches that ball, he is continuing running. This guy is a threat on any play, any time. I think not only is he the best wide receiver in football today, but maybe one of the best, if not the best, that's ever played this game.
No, not much question about it. First down, 49ers.
You know, watching him practice, though, you know why he's so good. He practices at full speed all the time. I mean, the guy is just amazing. And watching he and Montana, remember we watched him on Thursday the other day in practice, Montana only threw one incomplete pass all day.
In the entire practice.
Close to a perfect practice as I've ever seen.
Well, he was almost perfect against the Rams as well. That's Rathman over the right side. Stopped by Mecklenburg. Rick Dennison with the assist. Two-yard pickup by Rathman.
That's the offensive line there. You know, the offensive linemen always sit together, and they usually sit together in the same order that they line up next to each other. Keith Karts is number 72, the center there. Hey, he's had a great year and a great career.
Second down. And 8 at the Denver 42. Craig in motion left. Out to Roger Craig. Steve Atwater and Dennis Smith on the stop.
See, the Bronco defense is really doing what Wade Phillips wanted. Other than the touchdown to Jerry Rice where there was a couple of missed tackles, what the Broncos want to do is anytime a Roger Craig gets the ball or Jerry Rice or Tom Rathman, get a whole bunch of orange jerseys there on them. You know, not rely on one or two guys, but have 4, 5, and 6 guys tackle.
3rd and 2. To Craig. The old counter play. Close to a first down. Might have to measure. Greg Cragen led the Bronco defense.
The first time Craig ran that ball, that Barton got out there and made a wall for him, and he had a big gainer. That time the Bronco defense played it pretty well. I think that's going to bring up the 4th down.
It is.
This is a big decision here for George Seifert. You're in the Super Bowl. Your first year as a head coach. And as a head coach, you hate those things left, 4th downs and short. You got to make them. He's made his.
They're going after it. fumble. And Denver has it. Atwater came up with it. Rathman got 4 yards.
You wonder if they're going to say he's down.
First down.
Oh! I'll tell you, they have fouled that up more than anything this year, that fumble thing. It used to be simple. If a guy fumbled, it was a fumble. Now they got it when it's down and when the whistle blew. Looked like he was down, but you don't know when the whistle blew. So what they're saying is that whistle blew before that ball came out anyway.
So it's a 49er first down. Ball's at the Denver 31. Fake the trade by Montana. Looking at Taylor, incomplete. Jerry Rice also was in the area.
Yeah, that was good coverage. There's their teammate, Tony Dorsett, one of the all-time great running backs. Of course, he had that knee injury in training camp and had the surgery and has probably ended his career, but he had a great career for many years, of course, with the Dallas Cowboys and ending up with the Denver Broncos.
A minute and a half left in the first quarter with the 49ers leading 7-3. Second and 10. Montana out of the pocket. On the run. Incomplete. Intended for Taylor and batted away by Tyrone Braxton.
There is a fired-up cornerback, Tyrone Braxton. I think he was sick and tired of hearing all week about how bad the Bronco corners were and what Jerry Rice is going to do. Here, they have good pass protection to let Montana get out to this position. Braxton running all the way, staying with his receiver right at the end, reaching his right hand around and making that play on John Taylor. You know, these guys are pro athletes, and they have a lot of pride, too. And sometimes they just have to kind of take it for a while.
Third down. Montana will throw it again. Quickly to Rice. And Rice almost broke clean. Gets inside the 10, stopped by Corrington. A pickup of 21 yards.
Looks like the 49ers game plan, Pat, is to work Jerry Rice early to the inside. Every pass he's caught has been in around the hash marks or in the middle of the field. Bobbles out a little bit. Again, is always thinking what to do after he catches the pass.
First and goal from the 9 for the 49ers. Craig steps out of a couple of tacklers. Got it down to about the 7. Ron Holmes finally brought him down.
Well, was there a collision in there? Tom Rathman making a lead block. What a collision. In fact, it could have been with Carl Mecklenburg, who was down.
There are a couple of Broncos down, as a matter of fact. That's Mecklenburg right there. 23 seconds remain.
Here's Carl Mecklenburg here. Bruce Colley is going to fire out here and miss and leg whip Mecklenburg right here. Watch your right guard. He fires out. Now watch him right there. He misses his block, and right there he turns and kicks, and he gets Mecklenburg right in the left leg. Here's another look at it from Mecklenburg's side. See him coming over to make the play, and right there he gets a leg whip.
Like it hit him right on the left knee.
All defensive players complain about the 49er offensive tactics of leg whipping.
Second and goal from the 7. Scott Curtis has taken Mecklenburg's place. Montana, quickly, Brent Jones, 49er touchdown. Second touchdown pass of the day by Montana. First one to Rice, this one to Brent Jones.
Brent Jones is going to take that ball home with him. Hey, a big part of that success was Joe Montana's ability to run. That was a bootleg pass.
Hofer's extra point is not good. 13-3. Dan Reeves just saying to the referee, I want to see you.
But Montana is going to bootleg. You see, you fake the run to the left, and then you come out to the right. And I still think that no one runs to his right and throws the ball better than Joe Montana. Of course, and then Brent Jones, he's one of the things that has made this 49er offense a better offense this year because they use him more as a tight end. They throw more to John Taylor. They throw more to Tom Rathman. It's not just Jerry Rice anymore and Roger Craig. You have to worry about guys like Brent Jones.
He's the guy who's really come on, and that's the guy who came on a long time ago.
I think some of the things that he's done this year and over his career are just so amazing because he's doing the same things that 27 other quarterbacks in the league try to do, but he does it so much easier than the rest of them.
And I think a little bit quicker, too.
I think that's the whole. If there's one success or one key to the success of this 49er team, if there's one word, to me it would be quick.
Even in practice, when we watched it during the week, everything seems to happen so fast. Hofer's kickoff goes to Bell at about the 6. To the 25. Knocked down by Spencer Tillman. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. San Francisco 13, the Broncos 3.
The skyline of New Orleans, and right now it's Rice and Montana dominating.
The Superdome in New Orleans. The 49ers scoring. Montana, 20-yard pass to Rice for a touchdown. Then the Broncos got a 42-yard field goal from Treadwell. And then the 49ers came right back with another Montana touchdown pass, 7 yards to the tight end, Brent Jones. Montana 7 out of 12, 2 touchdowns. Elway 1 out of 7.
There's a guy out there with a jacket and some equipment. I think they must be changing some equipment on the umpire or referee. They just had the guy come right out there in his jacket and start testing stuff.
Jerry Rice having some work done on his back in the background back there.
Well, you know, Jerry Rice, even when we watched him practice, he just continues to do stuff like this to stay loose. I think that he lost 15 pounds over a year ago, and he is so tightly wound and sprung that he always has to keep all that stuff stretched out.
Here's Elway, chased by Haley. Pass incomplete, almost intercepted. Intended for Mark Jackson. Michael Walter.
Yeah, they talk about that Elway cross, Pat, that John Elway throws that ball so hard that it'll put a cross on the receivers. It may put a cross on a defensive guy after a rebound. Michael Walter could have got that thing after it comes off the Bronco onto him. Half an Elway cross.
Second and 10. 13-3 San Francisco. Elway back again. Pressure again. Incomplete again. Clarence Kay was the intended receiver.
Hey, Elway has only completed one pass today, and that was that shovel pass. And part of it maybe is Elway, but a big part of it is this defense, too. Look at Ronnie Lott. You're worried about him, how his leg was going to be. All he told me yesterday was there's a football game. That means that he's going to be there and he's going to play the way Ronnie Lott always plays.
Here's Elway out of the shotgun again. Winder is in the game with Elway. Screen pass to Winder. And nothing there. Well, a gain of 7, but not a first down.
I think the Broncos are a little frustrated here. You know, they know all about the frustration of not winning a Super Bowl and all that talk. Then they come in the game and they get down 13-3. I think that they have to keep their composure because you have to keep playing. You can't lose your composure.
John Taylor back deep, signals fair catch again, and makes it at about the 32. The 49ers up by 10 have dominated the clock as well. 13-3.
One of today's.
And they've got to score, obviously. They're down by quite a few points now. But it's not only the points that they're down by, it's that they're being dominated, and particularly on offense.
What has to happen is the Denver defense has to insert itself. They've got to get a turnover from the 49er offense, and then, of course, Elway has got to get into the ball game. The only way they have a chance is if Elway gets into it.
Well, let's go back to the field, and let's see if Denver's defense can do it.
He put a brace on his leg, but he's back. The middle of Rathman. Near midfield. A gain of 18. Rathman stopped by Simon Fletcher.
Yeah, Tom Rathman came from Nebraska where he was really a blocking type guy, never catches a pass, comes with the 49ers. Now they make a pass receiver out of him. This year during the season he caught 73 passes. Most of them like this, those little check-through things where you find a hole in there, check through, and Montana just dumps it over the line to you.
Craig. To the Denver 45. A gain of 6, stopped by Munford.
Yeah, you look at Roger Craig helmet, and you see it says Husker on it. He and Rathman have the same thing. In fact, there's 3 of the 49ers that went to Nebraska. Jamie Williams, and of course Craig and Rathman. And at the front of their helmet there it says Huskers.
2nd and 4. Here's the Husker. Craig again. First down, San Francisco. Steve Atwater brought Craig down. A gain of 9.
Isn't it funny how it always takes a bunch of guys to get Craig down, though? And they don't keep stats on that, but you wonder how many guys the first guy ever tackled him one-on-one. You know, it always looks like he'll make the first and second and third, and then you really don't get Craig down until you get about 5 or 6 guys there. See how he steps out of that tackle? He makes cuts, he's swiveling, he makes guys, and you don't get him until a whole bunch of orange jerseys are there.
Out of his socks again. Here's Montana out of the pocket. Incomplete. One of the rare times you'll see Montana go left and throw it.
Yeah, and you see what happened. He went left and threw it over Jerry Rice's head. There's Steve Wallace. Now, he comes in and plays left tackle for Bubba Paris. Terry Tausch plays right guard for Bruce Colley. They play half. You see, Bubba will play the first quarter and third quarter. Steve Wallace, number 74 now, plays the second and fourth quarter. They call it tag team tackle.
Same is true with Tausch and Bruce Colley. 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, and Montana's back to throw. Rathman. Another first down. Steve Atwater tripped him up. What a pickup of 12.
I tell you, if they don't get any better pass rush than this, then it's going to be a long day. They're going to set Super Bowl records throwing Watch Joe Montana here. Now he's ready to throw when he pumps right here. Look at the protection he has. Here's the line. Here's Montana. And look how long he has to pump. He's back there looking. And they better get closer to him and start getting someone knocking him down, or this is going to be a long, long day for the Broncos.
First and 10 for the 24. Craig again. Down to about the 16, stopped by Atwater. 8-yard gain.
Yeah, I think Roger Craig, he lost the 9 pounds this week, and he may run right out of his uniform. We know he got those socks off already. He doesn't have enough leg to hold up the socks. Looks like he could just run right out of the jersey and the pants could fall down. This guy is a player. I mean, he only knows one way to play. He practices that same way.
He really does. This is Flagler in motion this time. The handoff to Rathman. Hit behind the line, but struggled up close to first down yardage. Michael Brooks made the initial hit.
There's Vance Johnson. Of course, he was a big receiver for the Broncos this year. He was saying the other day that he thinks he's as good as Jerry Rice, but so far he's not getting the chance to prove it. There's nothing more frustrating than to be an offensive player and have to sit on that bench for 15 and 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened to the Bronco offense. 49ers have been on the field most of the time. Third down. Craig breaks the tackle and gets the 49ers first down. Hit by Munford and Mecklenburg. Got 3 yards.
Roger Craig plays football the way it's supposed to be played. I mean, he not only plays it hard and he plays it quick and he plays it fast, but he plays it with a smile on his face. I mean, he is a guy who enjoys playing football.
There were some people early in the year who said he's taken too many hits as a running back, that he's lost a step. And he was incensed by those remarks, saying, "I've never felt better."
I would be incensed by those remarks.
Brought down Craig, this time by Cragen. No gain.
The 49ers just mix up things so well. I mean, they hit you to the right, they hit you to the left. Then they pass to Rice, then they pass to Taylor, then they pass to Rathman, then to Craig. There's just no way to stop any one guy on this team because they have so many offensive weapons.
And they seem like such a happy group, which is a tribute to their owner, Eddie DeBartolo. And to him, George Seifert, 2nd and 10. Craig again. Not much again. Henderson out of bounds.
This is the area when they get inside the 20 that the 49ers worry about passing in this area because the Broncos drop so many guys off. Used to be for years, to get inside the 20, you never played a zone defense. And now more teams are playing zone, and it's tougher and tougher to find holes in those zones because you don't have the depth down here.
John Taylor, wide left. Rice is to the right. Up the middle of Rathman. And that final lunge got him to about the 2-yard line.
Tom Rathman was telling me yesterday, he said he loves to play in this place. He said he has his best games and his most physical games in this dome. Now, I have no idea how you can have your most physical games in anything that has a roof on it, but that's the way this guy feels, and that's the way he thinks.
Sticks are out, and he was that much short of getting the first down.
You know, it used to be that all the time that he would always look for Craig. Now he's looking more and more for Rathman. And if Rathman keeps making one-handed catches from behind like that, Montana's going to keep looking for him.
If he's wise.
And he is. This is another big call for George Seifert here.
4th and short. And they're going to go for it.
This is the second time they've gone. Last time they gave it to Rathman. What they do again.
Montana indicated that they got it. He had no question in his mind. 1st and goal, San Francisco. They lead it by 10 already. 8:14 left to play in the first half.
Watch the left side of that line take off, and they don't let the Broncos get any penetration. Then you have a big 235-pound fullback, and if the orange jerseys don't get penetration over the white, then Rathman's going to get a first down.
1st and goal, they need 2. That's great. Don't think so. Carricker made the stop.
Watch when that ball is snapped, how quickly everyone moves. Everyone moves at the same time. Good block there by Rathman. Cragen gets the penetration, 71, and he's the guy that didn't allow him to get in the end zone.
2nd and goal. Rathman, touchdown. Well, they haven't signaled yet. The officials haven't. Touchdown, yes. From a yard out by Rathman.
Hey, you're having a big game like this, Rathman and Craig, they're going to name a city after him in the state of Nebraska. That was all Montana this and Montana that, but this drive has been Rathman this and Craig that. The two Cornhuskers.
Kofer for the extra point. He missed the last one. That was perfect. So it's 7:15 left to play in the first half at the Superdome. 49ers 20-3 over Denver.
Denver will be hoping their defense today is a little less porous than in 1988, when they allowed Washington's Timmy Smith to rush for a Super Bowl record 204 yards.
Well, unfortunately, the Denver defense was not able to stop the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not sure that anyone can right now. Coach, last year it was Craig, Montana, and Rice. How on earth can they add 3 more players? Taylor, Rathman, and Jones. They're just getting better and better.
Well, that drive pretty much was a drive where the 49ers said, we're going to just stick it to them. We're going to run with the football. We're going to be very physical. So they were throwing the football to Rathman. He was catching it coming out of the backfield on key plays, and Craig was doing a good job of running with it. And then, of course, Rathman got in for the touchdown. But it was pretty much a story of Rathman. That was a great catch there that Rathman had to adjust to a ball that was thrown behind him. And that's a guy that didn't catch any passes in college. So you can see how he's come along as a receiver. But it was a Rathman drive.
And then, Walter, that set up the touchdown.
Well, it's nothing you have to do. These guys are coming off the line so good and so quick that they're beating Denver to the punch. And once they do that, they control the line of scrimmage. And it's with that type of distance, you got to beat the opponents off the line and be in their backfield at least by 3 yards. But they didn't do it, and that's why Rathman was in the end zone.
Well, Coach, why is it that Rathman has come on like this? Is it great coaching?
Oh, I think so, because when you get a guy that has the ability, but he's never done it, then the coach has to get the job done. So they've done a tremendous job of preparing Rathman for what he's doing today.
Well, let's go back to the field.
Drive dominated by Rathman and Craig, the two running backs for the 49ers. In fact, they handled the ball in that drive 13 out of the 14 plays.
That's what you call a Nebraska drive. Rathman ran 3 times and had 3 receptions. Craig ran 7 times. So as you say, 13 of those 14 plays, the 2 old Cornhuskers.
Kofer's kick to Carrington at the 1.
the 20. Romanowski again down on the special teams, leads the charge. And the Broncos take over. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 21. 49ers have had the ball 17 minutes and 43 seconds to 5:02 for Denver.
Today's teams enter the Super Bowl with very different playoff records. San Francisco have outscored their opponents 71-16, while the Denver Broncos can only muster a 61-44 differential.
Well, right now the Denver Broncos need to score, and the time of possession has definitely been against them, Coach.
17 minutes to 5 minutes. That's unbelievable ball control. And the way that you have ball control is if when you have a 3rd down, you convert it like the 49ers have been doing. And when Denver has a 3rd down and has the ball, they can't convert. The 49er defense stops them. The thing that we can't let happen right now is the game just get out of reach as far as Denver is concerned. If they come out with the idea that they've got to get it back in one play now and make a big mistake on an interception, then the game is just going to be a blowout. So Denver's got to keep its poise.
Well, to going back a little bit again to Rathman, a different style to what you used when you were playing, but what makes him so effective?
It's hard to bring him down. If you look at him, he's just a mass of human beings, and it's nowhere to really get a good grip at him. And if you hit him, as big as he is, with the momentum that he's taking, you're going to have most of the punishment. That's why the defensive opponents, instead of running there wrapping up, they're glancing off him and reaching at him, and you're going to break a lot of tackles that way, especially if you have his leg dry.
Well, right now I think Coach Reeves is saying, guys, relax. There's still a full half to go. We've still got some of this second quarter. Let's just get back on the field, move it downfield, and score. So let's now go back to our commentators on the field.
Pro football's getting to be a game of coordinators. Here's the offensive coordinator, Mike Holmgren of the 49ers. He makes a good call. They score a touchdown. Look, they get 5s up in the press box now for the coaches.
A lot of rumors about him perhaps being a head coach very shortly.
Yeah, there's talk about the New York Jets and the Phoenix Cardinals. I think he would make a very good head coach.
Matt Millen will knock Bobby Humphrey back for a 3-yard loss.
Matt Millen was fired up yesterday. He says that he knows how to attack. He said a guard pulls, boom, I hit that hole and attack it. I don't know that anyone attacks it like Matt Millen or celebrates. He was showing me his shoes. He said he played here in Super Bowl 15 in this stadium against the Philadelphia Eagles, and he said he wore the same shoes. He brought out those shoes. He said they worked good in Super Bowl 15. He said, I think they're going to work good in Super Bowl 24.
Well, so far they really are.
Working good.
2nd and 13. Elway drawing to Humphrey. Not much. It'll bring up 3rd and 11. Kevin Fagan made the stop with an assist from Millen.
Yeah, we were out here in the practice field yesterday. I was talking to Matt Millen. They had all these tractors and floats out here, and he said, he looked at those tractors and he said, geez, look at all those great-looking tractors. He said it's too bad they have to ruin them by pulling floats behind them. Never seen a linebacker that ever liked to float anyway behind a tractor.
Plus,
either like the tractor or the float.
He looks like he could operate the tractor. Elway through the hands of Mark Jackson, incomplete. That one was there, but he throws the ball so hard.
Yeah, but he had everything here. He has good pass protection. He has a good pocket. See the pocket there where he can step up, find his receiver, and then still step up and throw. That's pass protection. As you say, you've got to catch those. You have to catch those. Ronnie Lott came up and gave him a forearm in the head to remind him he was going to be there.
Again, it's John Taylor chasing the punt. It goes out of bounds close to midfield, and the 49ers will operate one more time with good field position. 30-yard punt. 49ers leading Denver 20-3 with 5:27 left in the first half.
San Francisco 49ers are attempting to emulate the legendary Pittsburgh Steelers. If the 49ers win, they'll equal the Steelers' record of having won 4 Super Bowls in 4 appearances. This great touchdown was one of 4 the Steelers scored to win their 4th title in Super Bowl 14.
Right now, these 49ers are looking every bit as good as the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s. Coach, what is it that makes a team so good?
Well, they're just good on both sides of the ball, on both offense and defense. Their special teams are excellent. They've got the quarterback that's playing better than any quarterback in the National Football League, maybe in the history of the National Football League. And he's surrounded by tremendous talent on the outside receivers and the 2 running backs that have done such a great job in this past drive.
Walter, we just saw Matt Millen make a big stop, linebacker, a player that was a great player, Pro Bowler in '88 for the Raiders. The 49ers pick up players, Sherrod, Jamie Williams, and Matt Millen. They bring the players in, they're willing to spend the money to win games. Are you going to do that?
Well, the thing is that you get a player like Matt Millen, who was with the LA Raiders, and then he was moved out. In other words, somebody came in and took his position. But you bring him to San Francisco where you surround him by people who have tremendous ability that they do, then you don't lose anything, because with his enthusiasm and the way he plays the game, he fits right in. Even though he's not as good as he was 2 years ago, with this team, he's even better.
Well, I think if you get the ownership, emulate Eddie DiBartolo. Because the one thing he does, he has a happy team, he has a good team because he'll spend the money to bring them in. And I think that's why we're seeing a dominant team in the 49ers, that they use Plan B. Now let's go back to the field.
5:27 left to play in the first half from the Superdome. 49ers leading Denver 20-3. Pat Summerall to John Madden. Here, the scoring drive. 10 plays, 14 plays. The last one featuring Rathman and Craig, the first 2 mostly Montana. He's 10 out of 16 for 131 yards. To Craig. Maybe a yard. Tyrone Braxton and Dennis Smith up to stop.
You know, one thing the Broncos didn't do early, they didn't pressure Montana, so he was able to get those first couple touchdowns. Now they can go to their running game already. Look, they've only sacked him once, but that was one time when Montana ran out of bounds. They've only made him hurry twice, throw when he didn't want to. But more important than that, they have yet to knock him down. And I think that if you are going to have any success against Joe Montana, you got to knock him down yet. The Broncos haven't knocked him down yet today.
They're going to show him a 5-man rush right here, although one of the up linemen backs out of there. Craig is really hit by Dennis Smith. He has a reputation of being one of the toughest of the safety men. In fact, both of the Broncos safety men do that.
Here's something. Watch Dennis Smith, 49. He's getting back in his zone, reading. Then he sees the ball thrown, and he's going to come out. The first guy holds him up a little here. Watch, the first guy Braxton kind of has him held up. Craig was in the middle of a spin, and Dennis Smith just unloaded on him.
3rd and 9, midfield. Craig, not enough for a first down. Complete pass hit by Braxton and Atwater.
I think Braxton, these guys are getting fired up a little too late. I mean, I know that they have to do it, but the 49ers just did surgery on this Bronco defense in this first half.
Vance Johnson back deep. Barry Helton will be the punter.
I don't think the Broncos have enough guys out there in punt return. Great.
Good job of coverage by Bill Romanowski. One more time. 3rd time he's made the tackle on special teams.
That was a good move by the 49ers. They didn't huddle. They just rushed their punt team out and both punted the ball, and Denver really wasn't out there and organized when they got that punt off.
And again, they'll start deep in their own territory at the 16. Summarizing the scoring again. Montana to Rice. Then a field goal by Treadwell made it 7-3. Montana to Jones, 13-3. And And then Rathman on a 1-yard run made it what it is now, 20-3. Elway dumps it out to Humphrey. After the 20, chased and stopped by Michael Carter.
Hey, let's watch Michael Carter here. Here's a guy who's so strong. Watch him here. He's going to start in the pass. He's always going to get double teamed. Boom, he stays to center, comes off the guard, starts pushing Waddell right back into the quarterback. Now he sees the ball thrown. Boom, turns, runs right down the line where the guy's going to be and gets a hit on Bobby Humphrey. Michael Carter hasn't been healthy all year, but when he is, he's the best nose tackle in the game.
2nd and 6. Elway to throw it. To Kay. Gain of 6. Matt Millen made the stop.
I don't know that Kay caught that pass. It may be the first one, but watch what happens when you're as good as Michael Carter. Your arms are that big. When you go to jump, they're going to cut you. Watch, you go to try and get your hands up. They don't go up with you. You go up, they go down. Wow, they go and they just block you right on your toes.
First down, Denver. I think they had to put an extension in Michael Carter's jersey. He is big and strong.
I mean, those big arms and pads, and he gets those hands on you and gets those legs moving. You're going to go backwards, even if you're as big as a guy like Keith Karts.
Elway to throw it again. Gets it to Johnson. Johnson worked his way out to about the 34-yard line. Pete Kugler and Don Griffin made the stop. 2 minutes left in the first half, with the 49ers dominating the Broncos by the score of 20-3.
The hottest favorites in Super Bowl history were the Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III. They were expected to steamroller over Joe Namath and the New York Jets, but the Jets staggered the pundits and ran out 16-7 winners. The AFL had won its first Super Bowl.
Coach, some fun memories right there. That was your first Super Bowl.
That's the game that we went into, and we were favored by 18 points in the ball game. And the Jets just quietly got ready to play us and ended up winning the football game. And that's what really helped get the merger together, because it gave credibility to the young league.
Didn't the following Super Bowl take some pressure off of you?
A little bit, because I was the first coach to lose to the young league, and the next year in the Super Bowl, Kansas City was able to beat Minnesota, and Minnesota was a 12-point favorite. But it doesn't look like the underdog is doing very well out here today.
That's right. Right now, Walter, we've seen Denver actually stop them. Their last drive, the 49ers, it looks a little better.
They needed to do it. It might be a little bit late, but if they get some points and they've narrowed that lead that the 49ers have, then it might bring the momentum back and you might see a better football game.
All right, well, let's go back to the field and our match commentators, John Madden and Pat Summerall.
Those wonderful shots of the Crescent City.
Yeah, well, you wait. I mean, if they really wanted to do something, they ought to come in the dome. I mean, they can stay outside and give you pictures like this. But if this thing were really something, they'd just fly the blimp in the dome and then give you the shots of the football.
I'm not really sure there's an entrance that would accommodate them.
They just blast in. Look at this, Montana, 12 out of 18, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, Elway, 5 out of 14 for 52 yards, but one of those was a sprain, one was a shovel pass, and he's just starting to get going now. In fact, that one to Vance Johnson was the first reception to a wide receiver.
Second quarter has not been good to the Broncos. So far, the entire game has not been good to the Broncos. Second down, 2. Elway hit it for Vance Johnson, and he just missed him.
I think the other thing is the ball really wasn't in a good position. It kind of had to come under and kind of bounced out there. Yeah, I just feel that Elway hasn't gotten started yet. Now, part of that is they haven't gotten enough first downs to get anything going. And then on the other side of it, the 49ers have had the ball so much of the time that that they haven't, he's been cold all the time.
3rd and 2. There's the pass knocked away. Intended for Jackson. The defender was Don Griffin. Good play. McKyer knocked it down. I beg your pardon.
You don't want to make too many great plays if you're a defensive back for the 49ers. Tim McKyer makes this one, and after he makes the play, about 5 guys hit him in the head. And the last one was Jim Bird. He was over there, and he gave him a shot and almost knocked his neck back.
Taylor back. Field the punt. We got a good punt. And goes down at about out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Harry Sidney was the guy who got the first block.
And they just activated Harry Sidney. He's number 24, coming off a broken arm. Boy, that is one that loosens up the sinuses. Yeah. And that is also the one that breaks John Taylor loose.
That will trouble your eyesight, a hit like that.
Harry Sidney, of course, has always been a leader on this 49er special team.
Montana has got some kind of a bandage on his right elbow. It wasn't there earlier. Gets it out to Rathman. Stopped by Simon Fletcher.
Over the years, Montana has had problems with his elbow. And I think that's just a protective pad there that you get just when you hit the ground. I know he did wear that against the Rams a little, too.
Montana comes out on the scramble. And gets down near first down yardage. Stopped by Henderson. And timeout San Francisco.
This is the area, this 2-minute drill where Montana's as good as anyone.
So the 49ers have 2 remaining timeouts, that is.
The 49ers dynasty started in Detroit in 1982 when they beat the Cincinnati Bengals to win Super Bowl 16. There were 5 points in it that day. Last season, when they met again, there were 4.
So right now the 49ers in their 2-minute offense, and it has memories of the Rams game. Let's hope that Denver does better than the Rams did at the end of their half. Let's go back to the field.
The 49ers lead it 20-3, and they've been successful in situations like this. In fact, extremely so.
It's one of the things that we went to practice. We watched the 49ers on Thursday, then we watched them yesterday. They practiced this both days, and it looks like the part of football that Joe Montana enjoys the most. I mean, I think that he is always a competitor. I think he becomes a bigger competitor in these situations. Of course, I don't know when it scores 20-3.
Right. Well, you'd like to get more, of course.
So if they get one here, we're en route to a blowout.
1:05 left in the first half. 3rd and short. 3rd and about a yard. Rice, wide right. Four-yard pickup gives the 49ers a first down. The tackle by Holmes. Ready to go. Montana. To Wesley Wall. One of their 3 tight ends. Munford made the stop. 49ers call a timeout with 40 seconds remaining. So they're down to 1 now.
The last time the Super Bowl was played in New Orleans, Walter was part of a Chicago team that destroyed the New England Patriots. 3 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, a record, helped ensure the Bears won their first Super Bowl. Coach Ditka seemed quite pleased too.
Well, the score was a little lopsided in that first Chicago Super Bowl. Let's hope this one gets a little closer. Let's go back to the field.
Coming up at halftime, Brent Musburger will be with Terry Bradshaw and the Chicago Bears head coach Mike Ditka. And we'll have the Super Bowl 24 halftime spectacular featuring the Peanuts. That's all coming up at the halftime. Second of one.
Can't beat a good peanut show.
They have to watch that. Montana going up top to Rice, touchdown. 38 yards away. Rice's second touchdown of the day. Montana's third touchdown pass. Hofer for the extra point.
That was a play that the 49ers set up because they took the time out. They went over to the sideline, and they talked about getting Jerry Rice up the middle. There's one coverage that the Broncos use. It's just too deep where they have the safety come over and the corner come up. And they thought that they could get Jerry Rice or John Taylor or Brent Jones down the middle on him. That's the play that Mike Holmgren was talking about. In that area, when they give us that type of coverage, we can get a post in there. Now you see the coverage I'm talking about. The corner comes up, the safety comes over, the corner comes up, the safety comes over, and look at this middle here. That's the area that they're going to try and hit. You see how deep those safeties are and how far over to the side? And once Jerry Rice, right there, see the big middle they have? They can't get anyone in there.
And, of course, it helps, too, John, that the pass was perfect.
You know, and Mike Holmgren was saying, I don't know that we're going to get that coverage. I don't expect that we will, especially with Jerry Rice there. But if they do, that's the one we're going for.
Well, you have to give him credit for spotting it, as well as Montana.
And then Jerry Rice for running it. In fact, they're not even up there. That's an empty press box. When you are up there calling offenses and defenses and you're ahead 27-3, you can start eating hot dogs earlier in the rest.
Elvin Brenton fielded the short kickoff. With 28 seconds to play in the first half, the Broncos will have a couple of shots. What do you say if you're Dan Reeves when you go in for the half?
Well, you know, they're down 27-3, but they haven't even gotten started yet. I would think it's the type of thing that you just, on offense, say we have to get something started. We haven't, John Elway hasn't gotten out of the pregame warm-up yet. The receivers aren't getting open. I think they have to go to a formation like this and just air it out the whole second half.
Almost every play. Elway to Jackson. Incomplete. Broken up by Eric Wright.
They get some of that and hope that they don't get coverage like this. They get guys open. You know, had he thrown that a little deeper, Jackson may have had a step on Eric Wright. This is not a half of football that John Elway is going to want to remember.
He's 5 out of 17 for 52 yards. 49ers lead it 27-3. On the other side, Montana's 15 out of 21. 3 touchdowns. Elway. Steve Sewell. First down for Denver. Stopped by Romanowski. 12 seconds to go as the Broncos take a timeout.
It doesn't seem to matter who the Minnesota Vikings play in the Super Bowl, they always lose. If Denver fail today, they'll equal the Vikings' sorry record of having appeared in 4 Super Bowls and having lost them all.
Well, all's quiet right now out there in New Orleans City. Let's hope it livens up like the Denver offense. Let's go back to the field.
Remain in the first half.
At the Superdome in New Orleans, number 24. And so far, it's been just about what was predicted. Elway back to throw it again. Sideline over Michael Young and out of bounds. 6 seconds left.
Hey, the San Francisco 49ers have played this first half on a different level than the Denver Broncos have.
Been a clinic.
It has. I mean, offensively, they've done everything they wanted to do. Defensively, they haven't given John Elway or his receivers a sniff.
Elway out of the shotgun this time. I imagine he'll spend a lot of time in the shotgun in the second half. Chased by Romanowski, but he has time. Out of bounds. Enough of a scramble.
So 27-3, San Francisco 49ers, and they look awesome. A horrible word, but a great team. Walter, a quick summary of the first half.
Well, the way I look at it, no John Elway. He didn't show up for the first half, and that's been the problem. You had the running game, but no passing game.
Coach Shula?
San Francisco defense is just not giving Elway anything to throw to, and the 49er offense, when they get the ball, they're able to hold it. The time of possession in this first half is just unreal. The 49ers have had the ball 2-1 or more than 2-1 compared to the Denver Broncos.
Well, let's hope that John Elway in the second half turns it on, gets a little bit more possession. Obviously, his receivers have also got to get open. He can't do it all on his own. We started the game with Humphrey running the ball well. He hasn't been running either, so let's hope they can get some possession. And please stay with us. We'll be back after this break. Well, not the half that we hoped for and not the half that we expected, but the 49ers really are playing dominating football right now, Coach.
This is the finest that I've seen them play. I thought that in the playoff games that they were playing at a level above everybody, and they've continued that or even bettered what they've been doing in the playoff games. So it's total domination on the part of the 49ers.
And it really all started with Rice down the middle, a 20-yard pass, but really the drive, 66 yards.
Well, it was a typical drive. Montana just working the ball around. Here he has all day to throw the football. They were rushing only 3 people. They thought they could defend with 8. They didn't make the tackle after he caught the football, and he goes into the end zone. That was the first touchdown right there. Here it is again now with Rice getting open. You see that he has all day. When you have that much time to throw the football, a receiver is going to get open in the zone, and then you miss the tackle. When you play a zone defense, you've got to be able to make the tackle. They missed the tackle, gave the quarterback too much time to throw.
2 fundamental mistakes there that they didn't want to do. One was when they tackled not to let the man go, and then not give Montana that sort of time. He'll devastate any defense like that. Walter, the next big play for me was probably Humphries, the fumble.
That's right. They had the momentum going because they had stopped stopped San Francisco. They had started to move the ball. The first play out of the box, he has the ball and he's hit and he's fumbled. That changed the momentum because San Francisco then takes the ball and then takes it right down into the end zone.
He's got the pad on his injured rib. Does that affect, Madden has been saying throughout the game that does affect him. Will that be affecting him?
It will have some disadvantage. I think more than the pads, I think probably what happened was because of the sore ribs, not being able to hold the ball as tight as he could going into the tight part of the field, reason it was stripped away from him. I don't think the pads had anything to do with that fumble at that particular time.
And then the next thing we saw was the Rathman touchdown, the first of his 2 touchdowns. He's a hard-nosed football player. He looks like a Marine.
Well, when they get down in that end of the field, what happens is San Francisco, they knew if they run the ball and score a touchdown by running it down there and just pound it out the way they're doing here, it demoralizes the defense because they realize we can't stop them. And with Rathman and a guy like Craig who just keeps pounding in there and being physical, it really takes its toll on the defense.
Well, what we just saw was Rathman on a 4th and 1. It was a big play for Coach Seifert. He's a rookie coach in a Super Bowl. He made the call. Rathman took it, got the first down. The ground caused the fumble, a rule I don't like, and they went on down to score. Then, Coach, it was Brent Jones on a play that you love to see, and I'm sure you would like to see Dan moving out that fluently.
Right. Well, this is what Montana does so well, and that's he comes out of the pocket by design. They do the best job of any team in the National Football League as far as faking. Here he fakes the handoff. He comes out there. The tight end, Brent Jones, has time to get open. He catches the ball, and again, they could have made the play, but they missed the tackle, and he's able to get in the end zone for the touchdown. That's another example of poor tackling on the part of Denver.
And again, here's a Joe Montana that had back surgery just a couple of years ago, and again, here he goes out.
He'll take on the tacklers. He comes out by design, and if he doesn't have anybody open, I've seen him run with the football and make things happen as a runner. So he's over the back surgery.
Walter, I was just going to get back now to Humphrey's fumble a little bit because I'm wondering how that affected him. I remember back in Super Bowl 20, you had a fumble early in the game that caused 3 points for New England. How did that affect you, and is it different for someone that's been in the league 11 years compared to a rookie who's playing his first Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think it is different because, you know, as you've been in there, as long as I was in there, you're going to have some fumbles. Over my 13-year career, I had something like 61 fumbles. But you have to realize that it happens. If you're going to be running as aggressively and hard-nosed as he's running, he's going to have those fumbles. In a big game like this, it might have a real effect on him simply because he goes back to the sideline and he sees San Francisco take the ball down and score, and he goes, wait a minute, that was my fault. Then he starts to come out and he starts to be more aggressive, and he starts to do things that are not natural instead of doing things that are natural, and that might be the problem that he's having now.
You think he's going to be comfortable coming out in the second half?
Well, I think it's a lot of pressure on him for a rookie simply because Elway has not performed up to his capabilities. And if Elway continues to falter like he's doing, I think Bobby Humphrey's going to have a real long afternoon.
Well, Coach, there was a lot of pressure on Elway coming into the game, and he's not lived up to expectations, but a few people have. 2 of them must include Montana and Rice. And we saw Rice scoring that big touchdown at the end of the half.
Right, this was a play that they went into their 2-minute or their hurry-up offense because they wanted more points. And they were going to do everything that they could to get additional scores. Here he goes down the middle to Rice. This is, as John Madden talked about, a defensive coverage that they used, and they felt that if they could catch this coverage with a speed receiver like Rice going down the middle and the 2 safeties splitting and leaving the middle open, Montana had to throw that ball a long way to get it down there. And, of course, Rice has got the speed to go down and make the catch. But that catch there, Denver has to be a very demoralized football team now at halftime. And I don't know what Reeves is telling them because when you're in there like that and everything has gone against you in the first half, then what you've got to do is to try to do something to instill their confidence.
Well, I'm not sure what Coach Reeves is saying to his team right now, but I know a scary thought is that Jerry Rice has said he's going to lose another 5 pounds. He lost 15 pounds last year. He's going to lose another 5 to get a little quicker. He thinks he's not quick enough. Well, we're going to quickly take a commercial break. Welcome back. Now let's go back to the field for the halftime extravaganza. It's entitled 40 Years of Happiness. It's a musical tribute to the South, as well as a celebration of the 40th anniversary of Charles Schultz's Peanuts character.
river, gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God.
The Soul Queen of New Orleans, Irma Thomas.
Oh, the river only raging, and the waters still wild, and the wind is swiftly blowing. I'm gonna get to the other side. Throw the clouds around me, there is darkness in the night. See the thunder and the lightning flashing in the sky. Fear is all around me, and there's nowhere I can hide. Till we gather on the other side. Shall we gather? Oh, shall we gather? Oh, shall we gather? Gather on the other side. Oh, shall we gather? Oh, shall we gather? Gather on the other side.
A national historical landmark celebrating 100 years of Mississippi River cruising, the steamboat Delta Queen. Mr. New Orleans, Pete Fountain.
A spectacular show from the Louisiana Superdome, and we will continue right after these messages from your local stations.
Well, that was Brent Musburger going for his break, but we're not. It's amazing to me the lengths they go to entertain. But right now, let's join Gary Imlach, who's somewhere in the stadium.
Mick, this is a fan's eye view of the field, and the fans in question today are our Super Bowl competition winners, Peter and Michelle Cook. Peter, this must be a bit different from anything you're used to in England.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the atmosphere here is really electric. I mean, admittedly, I'm rooting for Denver, but they're all 49er fans around here. Makes it a bit difficult, you know. But it's fantastic.
But the atmosphere is good. It's friendly, isn't it?
Absolutely. Everybody enjoys each other, whether it's a play by Denver or play by 49ers. Everybody enjoys it. It's great.
I've been watching some of the game in the control room, and what really doesn't come across is the noise. It is incredibly loud up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Admittedly, when something happens good, you can't hear anything here. If Joe Montana makes a good play, we can't hear a word. I mean, it's great, yeah.
Michelle, you're the non-football fanatic in this marriage. What do you make of it all?
Oh, it's great. It's great atmosphere. I love it. It's really good. Can I just say hi to my kids, Joe, Laura and Carl. They won't be watching it, but they'll see it on video tomorrow.
Yeah, and Duncan and Eddie and all the lads at the New Inn pub in Oadby. I mean, we've met so many nice people here. They've all been really good to us. You know, it's fantastic. We were talking to Jeff Fuller from the 49ers yesterday. Such a nice bloke. He wanted to take us for a drink. Everything has been superb, you know.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Who do you think's going to win?
Well, I think the 49ers are going to win, but I mean, I hope Denver will do something now. You know, I really do.
I think a lot of people agree with that prediction. In the meantime, back to Walter, Don and Mick in the studio.
Well, it's great to see Peter and Michelle having such a good time. They were the winners of the Daily Telegraph competition, and they're having a lot of fun. It's nice to hear also the players are so friendly, and they're having such a good time in this wonderful city, New Orleans. We're now going to take a break. Join us for the second half in a little while. Well, Peter and Michelle were the winner of the first competition, but if you recall, we also have a competition that's just finished, which was to name the team of the decade. And the lucky winner there is Helen Whitehead. She lives in Scarborough, North Yorkshire, and her card was the first to agree with our panel of 20 experts who voted for their team of the decade. And this was how they voted. The Chicago Bears of 85-86 got 15 votes, and so I know Walter's very happy about that. The Giants of 86 got 2 votes. The San Francisco 49ers of 89 got 2. And the Los Angeles Raiders of 83 got 1 vote. And I think that was more of an emotional vote right there. You'll be glad to know that about 75% of you also voted for the Chicago Bears. So you were all on track with our panel of experts, but unfortunately there was only one winner. And we look forward to seeing her at the American Bowl in Wembley next August. Well, guys, now to get back to a little bit more of an important game to the Denver Broncos right now, this Super Bowl, Super Bowl 24. What do the Denver Broncos now need to do to get back in the game, Walter?
First, Elway has got to come out and do something. He's got to rally the guys around him. They got to continue with the running game, get Humphrey back into it, and so they can keep the defense off balance. But if they don't do that, and San Francisco comes out and scores again, I think it's going to be a long afternoon.
Coach Shula?
Well, Dan Reeves, as I mentioned before halftime, as they were going in and the 49ers just scored, that had to be a real demoralizing touchdown. He's got to somehow convince his people. He's got to be positive about what they can do in the second half. And he's got to sell them on the fact that everything that could go wrong did go wrong in that first half. So they've got to go back and start right from page 1 and try to get something going. Some kind of a running game. They still got time to do that. If they can get the football and get on the board, score a touchdown, that could give them some life. But the 49ers have to start making some mistakes if Denver is going to get back into the ballgame. They haven't made any in the first half.
They really haven't made many. And looking back here at this game, again, I don't know if it's because you're sitting next to me, Walter, but it reminds me of the game with you against New England. And they had a young quarterback that was very highly thought of named Tony Eason. He was pulled from that game, replaced by the older man, Grogan. And I don't think he ever recovered. I think the move to the Jets that's just taken place may be the best thing for him. Is this going to be devastating to John Elway if he loses again?
I think it will have some type of effect on it, but he's a competitor. He's going to always come back and try to get here and then right the wrongs that have happened. The problem that's happening here now is that Elway's got to do something. He's sitting back in the pocket. They're flushing and making him move up. He's got to move around from side to side as opposed to going from up and down to stretch that defense and make some openings in there so he can get the ball into his receivers.
I played against Elway both in college when he was at Stanford, and I played against him in the pros, and he was the most frustrating player to play against. When he went out of the pocket and started running, you thought you had him. He'd dodge that defender. You're just about to get him again. He's dropped back 20 yards, and then he'll bomb it downfield 50 yards to one of his receivers. We haven't seen that today, Coach. Why is it?
In the AFC Championship game, he probably played the best game of his career, and he did all of those things that you're talking about. In this game, every time that he's tried to do something, he hasn't been successful. His first scramble, they tackled him before he made the first down. And then the other times, he should have scrambled when he didn't. He threw the ball down the field. Of course, you got to give the 49er defense some credit for what's going on out there, because they do a heck of a job of playing defense. But Elway is not doing the things that he's capable of doing, and that's why we don't have a match now that we thought we would have going into the ball game.
We talked about great coaching at the top of the program. We also talked about great receivers, and I have to admit, we did emphasize 49ers more than the Denver's receivers. Are the Denver receivers letting John Elway down right now?
I think Mark Jackson has had 2 drop balls on plays that could have helped Elway. And when you look at these statistics, I think Elway had 5 completions in the first half. When you look at it, you don't see that he had 2 drop balls that could have been caught that might have given them a little bit of a lift in order to maintain possession of the ball and move it down the field. But, of course, Elway had some bad throws, too.
Walter, you finished your game that we referred to, Super Bowl 23. You went in at the half. You knew you were going to win that game. What was Mike Ditka saying to you as a winning team right then?
Well, see, when you get on this level of competition, you're never sure of anything. Even though you might have a big lead or you might have a comfortable lead, doesn't always mean you're necessarily going to win, simply because that other team got here because they have grit and they have courage, they have the personnel, and they've beaten some good teams, and they're capable of coming back. That's why if San Francisco scores again, it's going to be hard because they're going to continue to score because they think in the back of their mind, this is a good team and they can come back.
So you think George Seifert has been saying, hey guys, keep your nose to the grindstone, we can't let up now. But I think more importantly, Coach, you have been in a situation where you've lost the Super Bowl. What now is Coach Dan Reed saying to his team? He's got to get them fired up, and as Walter just said, they do have the potential to come back.
Well, they do, and they have that Elway great play potential. And I'm sure that Dan is just saying that we have to go out there and start doing some things, that everything that can go wrong has gone wrong in that first half. We are a better football team than what we've showed. So everything that Dan says to this football team has to be positive thoughts, because they are down. There's no question about it. That touchdown right before the half had a big impact on them. But if they can come back and do anything at all, Coach Seifert, on the other hand, is telling his football team, hey, we got a big lead, but we're going to go out and play this game, this second half, like it's 0-0. We're not going to sit on our lead. We're going to do the things that got us on top and not sit there and feel that Denver won't challenge. So I'm sure that Seifert is doing just the opposite. He's trying to tell his football team, we're going to go out there and play it like it's a scoreless ball game and just win the second half of the ball game.
They have so many key players on the 49ers. Just quickly, which players do the Denver Broncos have to see now perform to get them back in this game?
Well, of course, Elway, and then it's got to be the wide receivers because they're behind and he's got to throw the ball down the field. They're not going to be able to spend time trying to establish a running game, although they have to be able to mix the run in there. So it's going to have to be throwing the ball to the backs or throwing the ball down the field.
Well, let's hope they do that, and let's hope that John Elway gets going. Let's now go back to the game for the opening kickoff.
Darkness has settled over New Orleans. If you look down at the Superdome, the darkness settled over the Denver Broncos in the first half. 49ers lead it 27-3. Part of the halftime show was a riverboat featuring our friend Pete Fountain. They couldn't get the riverboat level.
But they got the goalpost level finally. Now it is. Okay.
It is level, and the thing is, the two things you can't play without are goalposts and the footballs. They got a lot of footballs out there, and they had one goalpost. They finally got that one up, and now you got to get that carpet back together. Now, who would have thought? I mean, if the football gods are up there and they're looking down, they'd say, look at this. They're playing under a roof, on a carpet. They're putting the goalpost up and fixing the carpet after a halftime show.
George Toma, the guru of stadium maintenance and field conditions, has done such a magnificent job.
Right on the button. We're excited.
All right, George.
Everything's ready.
Safe.
I'll tell you, when it's 27-3, though, I wonder who cares if you have a straight goalpost. And this is how it happened.
16-5 in first downs, but down at the bottom, well, it all shows you why the score is 27-3. But look at that time of possession.
That's the thing, I think. You know, everyone's going to say, why didn't the Broncos do this? Why didn't Elway do that? In the first half, they really didn't have the ball. We talked. I think that key play for the Broncos was that Bobby Humphrey fumble at midfield when they were just down 7-3.
Treadwell set to start the second half of Super Bowl 24. Terrence Flagler at the 10. Taken down at the 23 by Kip Corrington. And the Broncos have got to air it out.
Yeah, you always talk about what the team that's down has to do. Even the team that's ahead has a problem, because I remember being in these situations and being ahead, and guys like Bubba Paris wants to know if he can play fullback. And the center, Jesse Sapula, wants to go back and play guard again. And, of course, Steve Young wants to play. And guys want to do different things, and they forget that you have to play the second half the way you played the first half.
This is a familiar 49er script. Get ahead, and go back to your running game. Montana's going to throw. To John Taylor. That's his first catch of the day. 8-yard pickup. Wyman Henderson brought him down.
Hey, I think the Broncos are trying to get fired up, and then they come back, and they're still a little frustrated. Look what Joe Montana did in the first half by distance. He was 11 for 13, under 10, 3 for 6, 10 to 20. Then he hit one deep one out of two, that deep post to Jerry Rice. But he has really thrown the ball mostly under 10 yards.
That's pretty much his pattern. Second down and 2. Rathman. Knocked backwards. Hit by Scott Curtis. Didn't get a first down, I don't think.
I would think that they'll probably come right back again to that side. When Bubba Paris is in there, they like to run behind him, and they don't pull him much. Because Bubba is, you know, they list him at 299. Bubba is closer to 399 than 299. He's not 399. Now, he'll get mad when I say that, but he's closer to 399 than 299.
He told me the other day when you introduced me, you sure you say that 299 so my mother can hear it. Rathman. Stopped by Greg Cragen. I don't know if he got the first down or not.
This is going to be one of those spot deals. This is what Bubba does. You know, he's so big that he says he wants to get his mass on you. And when he gets that mass on you, I'll tell you, that does tire you out. I mean, he just goes and goes and goes. And then at the end, he falls on you. How'd you like to be Holmes there? You're thinking, this is a tough job. At least the Broncos stopped it. So their first goal was to get something going defensively. They've done that.
On 4th and short, the 49ers will punt. Barry Helton, the punter, and that's Vance Johnson.
Like I said, sometimes it's tougher to fire up the team that has the big lead than it is the team that has the big deficit.
Good kick. Johnson singles fair catch. Makes it. The Broncos get their first start of the second half from the 24-yard line. 42-yard punt. So the Denver defense did its work.
Now John Elway, I think, has to kind of relax and just let things flow. He threw those first two passes incomplete, and I don't think in the first half he ever got loosened up.
He missed those first two badly. Then they got something going, and then the fumble by Humphrey, and since then it was all 49ers. Mobley. Motion. Throws the interception to Michael Walter. And the 49ers get it back at the Denver 27.
Now, whatever they talked about at halftime, I'm sure that wasn't it. Come out, let's open this thing up and throw one to a linebacker. Again, now the 49ers know they have to pass. Good pass rush. They get in his lanes. You see, Haley was right there. Michael Walter was in the lane. I don't think Elway ever saw Michael Walter because of Haley. You see Haley coming from his left right there? I don't think he saw him.
Sure didn't look like it. First and 10, 49ers at the Denver 28. Rice, touchdown.
I tell you, it's the same pattern. It's against the same coverage. That was the thing that they thought they could do. That's the third touchdown to Rice on a post pattern. Right in the middle, splitting that defense.
Montana has been magnificent. Extra point is good. Rice has 6 carries for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the 49ers move ahead 34-3. It's a power display. To 3, the 49ers in control. Jerry Rice, 6 receptions, 136 yards, 3 touchdowns, a Super Bowl record. Montana is setting records by the bushel.
And if the Broncos don't start playing a better defense in that middle, he's going to get 3 more.
Aaron Carrington for the Broncos. About the 30-yard line. And Reeves has taken his coat off and rolled his sleeves up, but it's not working so far.
Watch where that is bad. Here's Jerry Rice. Now they want to come up and bump him. They missed the bump. Now the safety should be back here. He looks at John Taylor coming here. Jerry Rice comes here. Boom. Look at this wide open middle. You see the bump is going to come up on him here. He misses him. He runs right by him. The safety looks at Taylor, and look at Jerry Rice wide open in the middle of the field.
Denver first down at their own 30. Elway swings it outside to Humphrey. Bounds at about the 37. Michael Walter knocked him out after a pickup of 7.
I think it doesn't look like Bobby Humphrey has been bothered by those 2 cracked ribs. One thing I noticed, on that play he got out of bounds, but on the other one, he's getting bent over and getting his shoulder pads in front, so all they have to hit is shoulder pads. He's not going to expose that rib side. This is what he's wearing. See, they just put an extension on his regular shoulder pads to cover the ribs.
Second and 3. Humphrey again. First down, Denver. Again, he covered the ball and ducked under the tacklers.
And he's laughing there because Chet Brooks was coming up. Chet Brooks was coming up, and Chet Brooks was bringing a big load. And Bobby Humphrey And just before Brooks got there, Bobby Humphrey got down under Brooks's load. There is a tough guy, number 31. I think that he has been a big part of the success of this 49er defense. The defense that people don't talk a lot about. He took over for Jeff Fuller, and as he played well.
It's a very good defense. No way to throw it. Chase by Kevin Fagan. Ball loose. Walter comes up with a loose ball, but Elway was down.
Here's a group that's done a heck of a job. We see Joe Montana walking by him, but that's the offensive line of the 49ers. There's Harris Barton, big right tackle. He was a guy who pulled early in the game and broke Roger Craig on a run. Remember that drive, Jesse Sapullo? Think of those runs they've been getting up the middle to Rathman and Craig. And of course, this guy here, he leads the whole thing, doesn't he?
He's the artist. 2nd and 16. Elway chased by Haley. Batted up to Steve Sewell just at the last second. Stopped by Pierce Hope. Pickup of 10.
This is the thing that the Broncos, the thing they have to think about is you don't think of scoring 40 points now. You just think of getting one touchdown. They haven't done that yet. Maybe you just think about trying to get past midfield.
Pass intercepted by Chet Brooks. Brooks out of bounds at the Denver 35.
I can't believe that there's not something wrong with John Elway. I mean, I know that he's had a cold because he was really coughing yesterday. I mean, he's just not throwing the ball. That's not John Elway. That's not the great passer that we've seen over the years. I mean, this ball comes out of there like a wounded duck. Watch it. I mean, this isn't even a spiral. It's not that big a pass rush. He can't find anything open, but that thing's flipping and flopping around in the air, and it isn't even close to a receiver. Maybe it's frustration. Maybe it's physical, but this isn't the John Elway I've seen.
Here's Craig behind Barton again, who again gets an excellent block. Dennis Smith made the stop. Joe Montana's day today. The records he has set today: passing attempts, completions, yards, touchdown passes in a career, 4 in a game. That's a record. Just been the same guy we saw in practice and against the Rams.
Yeah, they had that big scandal thing the other day, or the story about the drugs, and we went to practice that day, and everyone was thinking, geez, maybe it'll bother Montana. Like I said, every piece, this is 2.5 hours, had one incomplete pass.
Going deep for Taylor, another touchdown.
That's the same place, Pat. It's that post at the middle of the field. You talk about being vulnerable. That's worse than being vulnerable. They're getting killed.
35 yards from Montana to Taylor.
And we saw Jerry Rice catch 3 posts for touchdowns. Now it's John Taylor's turn to run a post. A post, the guy just runs up, then he runs into the goal post. The quarterback throws it in the middle field, right at the goal post.
Hofer for the extra point. And the 49ers lead it by the score of 41-3.
Welcome back, everybody. The score is 41-3, and we could be watching the best team ever to play this game.
Hofer set to kick off. Kickoff team's gotten a lot of work today. That's Carrington at the goal line. Good return out to about the 38. Stopped by Flagler. And Reeves has been in, this is his 8th Super Bowl appearance. Some with the Cowboys as a player, some as an assistant. And then with Denver, they have had a tough time in Super Bowl competition. This is their...
Well, you know, he's done a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Their whole staff has really of getting here this many times. And, you know, maybe they aren't the best team in the NFL, but they have proven to be the best team in the AFC a number of times.
Elway will throw it. Vance Johnson. Cross midfield. Stopped by Johnny Jackson. First down.
Well, the Broncos are now going with no huddle. When you're down 41-3, you got to try something to change up, and then they decided to go with a huddle. They started a no huddle, and then they went back and huddled.
Not a lot to talk about when you're behind 41-3. Let's put it up, boys. Humphrey on the draw play. To about the 14. Don Griffin finally tripped him up. 34-yard run by Bobby Humphrey.
Yeah, that was one of the things that the 49ers were worried about is Bobby Humphrey's quickness. Watch, his line gets a block there. Right there, they get a cut block on Matt Millen. That's the block that sprung Humphrey through the hole. And when he gets in the open on artificial turf, what does this guy have? Quick moves. You know, he decided not to take the senior year at Alabama to go into the pros. There's Alabama played here in a bowl game, and he's playing in the big bowl game.
Away. Flag on the play. Clarence Kay was the intended receiver. Romanowski back there with him.
You know, talking about flags on the play, there's been very few flags in this game. The officials have really stayed out of the football game.
That's only the second penalty.
Interference, number 53, defense, first down on the 1-yard line.
And that was Romanowski. He was the guy who came up with the interception. I don't know. I think that's an interception. I think it was, of course, 41-3, but I think that's a bad call. I know what they're going to say, that he didn't look back and that he face guarded. But I think if you intercept it, then it all ought to be off.
It's a heck of a play.
Yeah, he gets his hand up there, brings it down, and holds on to it with his left hand.
In any case, they ruled it's interference. First and goal, Broncos at the 1. Humphrey collided with Elway. Didn't make it. Stopped by Pierce Hope.
See, this has to be the worst 3 quarters of football John Elway can remember in his life. Not only is he having trouble throwing the ball, but then he goes to run it, and his running back runs right into him. Doug Waddell was on the ground. He was in the way, and that was a play that didn't have a chance from the get-go.
Second and goal from the 1. Back to the line of scrimmage. Haley was the first to hit it. A loss of 2 yards.
I think that the 49ers have thrown these guys off so much that now they have a tough time getting a play off. Watch Matt Millen. Matt Millen loves to play short yardage and goal line. Just gets the feel of the guy, gets around his guys, gets around their guys, and finds a ball carrier.
So now it's third and goal from the 3. Goes to the shotgun. Runs a quarterback draw and runs into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
Elway Elway doesn't even look like he wants to celebrate that one, and I think he's right. This is an organized play. They have 4 wide receivers plus Sewell in there, and it's just a quarterback draw. They just put him the ball in the shotgun, snap the ball to him. He's supposed to find a hole up in the middle. There was no hole in the middle, so he just bounced it to the outside.
Kubiak will hold for Treadwell. 41-10. 6:53 left to play in the third quarter. 49ers still with a commanding advantage. 41-10. Super Bowl number 24. Pat Summerall, John Madden at the Superdome in New Orleans. 41-10. Broncos just scored. Treadwell about to kick off.
You see who's in the wedge here all by himself? That's a one-man wedge. They're playing Tom Rathman. I think if I had Tom Rathman, I'd play a one-man wedge too.
This is going to be Flagler from about the 3. Down at the 24 by Bruce Klosterman. 23-yard return. The Denver scoring drive, 5 plays. They went 61 yards, a big 34-yard run by Humphrey. Elway got the touchdown from 3 yards out. Rice and Taylor split wide left. Flagler was in motion. Craig gets the carry. Again, steps out of a couple of tackles, gets a first down. Simon Fletcher wrapped him up.
I don't think the Broncos have any idea of where to go to start to stop this team anymore. I mean, they got Craig is still running. They can still run Rathman. They have thrown 4 touchdowns in the post in that area. And it seems like anything they want to do, they can do. The Broncos have not knocked Montana down all day. So I know it's artificial turf, but that's about as clean a jersey as a quarterback can have in the third quarter.
First and 10 49ers at the 36. Here's counter Trey. To Craig. Up by Andre Townsend this time. And Tim Lucas.
Yeah, if you look at where they passed, you can see that he was 5 for 5 in the middle deep. That's where he's killed them. Look, 142 yards deep in the middle, and 4 of those were touchdowns. Then he's 4 for 6 to the left, 6 for 8 in the middle short, 3 for 3.
Bruce Colley, who plays the third quarter, and Terry Tausch comes in. They're right guard. That's Craig in motion. Montana back to throw it. And to Taylor. Complete. Stopped by Lucas. In the 4 Super Bowls, look at the numbers for Montana. 68% completion. 1,105 yards, 11 touchdowns. No interceptions. Remarkable.
He's a remarkable quarterback. We talked about that before, that we used to say that he was the best in football. I don't think anyone even argues that anymore. Now we're on a level, is he the best that ever played? And I'm one that votes yes.
He sees so much. Ball out to Williams for a first down. And a gain of 7 yards. Steve Atwater made the stop on Jamie Williams.
Jamie Williams is another one of those guys from Nebraska, along with Roger Craig and Tom Rathman. And he was a Plan B picked up from Houston. And he is really a happy guy. He was out most of the season, then he got to play at the end and play here in the Super Bowl. I saw him the other night. He was in front of a restaurant standing in line. I said, "Hey, Jamie, you're in the Super Bowl. You don't have to stand in line." He said, "Yeah, send me Montana and I won't have to stand in line." He was with Bono, the third-string quarterback.
Handoff is to Rathman. Got blockers in front. To the Denver 30. Atwater made the stop, but Rathman gets 18 yards.
You know who's done a heck of a job, Pat, is Harris Barden, the right tackle pulling. We'll just watch him here when we see him. He's done it all day, but watch 79 right there. You see him? Now he has to find the hole, and then when you find the hole, you have to find the guy that is going to make the tackle. See him lead right here? He finds a hole, then he gets his hands, he gets his block on him, and he's the guy that clears the way for Tom Rathman.
Flagler goes in motion. It's Craig this time, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Scott Curtis. Joe Montana has completed 12 consecutive passes. That is another Super Bowl record.
He's going to have so many of them that they won't even remember the other guy. That just broke Phil Simms' record for consecutive passes.
2nd and 11 at the 31. 41-10, San Francisco. Consecutive to Rice inside the 20, stopped by Tyrone Braxton.
You see Jerry Rice, those pants between his pants and his stockings, he wears a pair of long pants like dancers, or tights is what those are. So he wears tights, then he puts his socks over the tights and then the pants over the tights, and then in practice he just wears tights, and that kind of keeps all that stuff together, all those muscles and stuff, and keeps him warm, because this guy can just go all day.
Keeps that speed in there.
Yeah, I'd like to borrow some of that. That's good. I could use that and wear some of that speed around.
First down, just inside the 20. Montana. Well, that broke the streak to Mike Wilson, but the pass was there.
Not only broke the streak, but it broke that same area. Of course, they're in a little closer now. As I said, they've thrown 4 touchdown passes to the post in that middle area, and then that was an incomplete in that same area. But the closer you get to the goal line, the tougher that pass is.
It's time to meditate. 1:21 left to play third quarter. 2nd down and 10. To Craig. Moves to the 6. Stopped by Curtis. And Simon Fletcher, but a 12-yard pass completion from Montana to Craig.
You know, I think at some point you have to give this offensive line credit, too, because Craig has done a lot. Rathman, Joe Montana hasn't been knocked down. He has a complete clean jersey. He doesn't even look like he's sweating. And this offensive line has really come on in the last month of the season. They haven't allowed a sack, and in fact, they don't even allow anyone anymore to get close to Montana.
1st and goal from the 7. 30 seconds left before the end of the third quarter. Montana didn't like what he saw. Timeout, San Francisco, with 28 seconds to go. The 49ers leading 41-10.
No team in history has given up more Super Bowl points than the Denver Broncos. They've been outscored 40-108. And defensive coordinator Wade Phillips knows that if that doesn't improve, the 49ers could be on their way to a 2nd straight title.
Well, Walter, Denver's given up more points in the Super Bowl. The Chicago Bears scored 46, again in Super Bowl 20, that you were playing, and that was the most ever scored in a Super Bowl. It looks like 49ers are going to break that, mate.
I tell you what, if the fans that are watching this like a high-scoring football, they got it today, because San Francisco 49ers can't do anything wrong. I don't think Joe Montana has only had maybe one incompletion. It's unbelievable.
I think a lot of people might be wondering, why am I staying up to watch this? Well, I think you should stay up and watch it because I think this may be the best team ever to play this game. But Coach Schuler, you've been around it a lot longer than me. Are they the best?
Well, you'd have to say so right now because they've got this tremendous streak going in the 80s, and you just got to stand back and applaud today.
Well, we'll come back a little later on and talk a little bit more about just how good these 49ers are. But right now, let's go back to the field and our match commentators, Pat Summerall and John Madden.
Join us next weekend when CBS Sports tees off its coverage of the PGA Tour with the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. Coverage starts Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time in one of the most beautiful spots anywhere in this country.
You know, I'd like to have that shot there and just swing as hard as I could and hit the ball in the ocean.
It's happened.
I know. And I've seen it happen. In fact, I'm gonna come and watch that next week. I think that's one of the great golf tournaments, and it's sure one of the great spectacles in this country, that Pebble Beach area.
It's a special event at a special location. First and goal at the 7. Rathman to about the 3, stopped by Andre Townsend. 4-yard pickup.
There's nothing that guy can do now. I know the feeling there. You just kind of hope it gets over.
Clock ticking down to the end of the third quarter. And that is the end of the third quarter with the score of the 49ers 41, the Broncos 10. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Welcome back, everybody. Bourbon Street is going to be hopping tonight, and it's going to be the 49er fans that are doing the hopping.
Jennifer, the blonde.
She still has her ticket. She's so proud of that ticket in this game. She's going to carry that around forever. That's going to be a souvenir. Jennifer will take it home and tell Joe, look how I got in.
Second and goal at the 4. Around. Touchdown. Continues. From 3 yards away. Rathman adds to the total.
He's still trying to get warm over there. Hey, what a machine this 49er offense is. What a machine this 49er team is. Hey, the holes are getting so big now, it's starting to be embarrassing. These two running backs, Rathman and Craig, have done a job. The offensive line has been outstanding. Outstanding.
The receivers have been outstanding. The only thing I can remember that went wrong was the missed extra point. Not so this time. 48-10. San Francisco. 72,919 in attendance today at the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. San Francisco 48, Denver 10. We just begin the final quarter. Good look at the Superdome from the MetLife blimp. Over 97 miles of wire are needed to connect the 8,500 lights that make up that night sign on the MetLife blimp.
You wonder how it feels to go through a period that Joe Montana's going through, where, everyone struggles in what they do, and even some people that are the best, it's still hard, but to make it look this easy and to do the things that he's done, I wonder what it feels like inside.
I've never experienced it. I couldn't tell you.
No, I haven't either. And I just watch him, and he's so cool about it. I know yesterday when we talked to him, I felt more excited about the game tomorrow than he did. And heck, they're not shooting any bullets at us.
No.
There's no pass rushes or blitzes or guys hitting you.
He certainly didn't seem cocky, but he did seem very confident.
Well, and he talked about fear, just the fear of losing and the fear of playing poorly.
Carrington. Brought down just outside the 20 by Romanowski again.
I think everyone's wondering at what point do the Broncos say that's enough and put in Gary Kubiak for John Elway.
I was just starting to think that myself.
Well, it's a type of thing that Elway has never really gotten started today. I mean, he did run that one in for a touchdown, but this was just not his day, and I don't know that the answer, of course, is to change quarterbacks either.
It is still Elway. Mark Jackson, the man on the move. Elway sacked by Daniel Stubbs. Steve Young getting ready.
Yeah, I would think that with a 48-10 lead in the fourth quarter that Steve Young is probably going to come in the next series. That's a nice way to go in, too. I mean, it's not fun. It's not good being a backup quarterback, but, you have to mop up to usually go way ahead or way behind. But when it's a Super Bowl and you're following a guy like Joe Montana, what the heck? Smile about it.
Flag on the play as Elway goes back to throw, gets the screen pass up the middle to Sammy Winder. Kevin Fagan on the stop, gain of 9.
49ers just look like they're quicker and faster. They have a term in boxing to get off first. The first guy that gets the punch up. The 49ers get off first.
In every case. In every play.
Offside, number 98, defense, 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage, still second down.
Antonio Goss, the man who jumped.
Yeah, I don't think Antonio Goss, I think it was 96 they were talking about. I think they changed that. Yeah, I think it was Stubbs.
He's the one who made the sack the play before. 2nd and 11. Elway almost taken down again, and he is. Fumble. And the 49ers pick it up. Stubbs recovered the fumble. Returned it 16 yards.
Hey, the 49ers aren't showing any mercy on him, Pat.
Wow.
They were bringing the defensive backs on that one. They were blitzing their safeties. They were bringing the corners. And Stubbs picked up the fumble after Elway was hit and fumbled the ball. But watch this. They get the 4-man rush. Now watch the corners coming from the outside. See Griffin, 29. There you see the other corner, Pollard, coming from the other side, and they're the guys that flush him out. Griffin's the guy that hits him. The corner who blitzed him finally hits him and knocked the ball out.
Millen and Elway in conversation. I don't know what about.
I don't know. Matt Millen, of course, played against the Broncos and John Elway for so many years when Matt Millen was with the Raiders.
1st and goal at the 1. Montana still in. Craig. 49er touchdown. From a yard out. Four to 10. Topher in to try for the extra point. We have 13 minutes and 47 seconds left to play.
Hey, this is complete domination. The 49er offense has beaten the Denver Bronco defense every way a defense can be beaten.
55 to 10. With 13:47 left to play. This is just unfortunate.
55-10. Super Bowl record for number of points scored. They broke the record, the 49ers did, of the Bears when they beat the Patriots. Same field. Gopher to kick off. Carrington dragged down at the 26. The return of 26.
Yeah, we just saw Pete Kugler going in there, Pat, on defense, number 67. He's playing his last football game today. He's after this game for the 49ers, he's going to retire at 9 years. He's really had a good career. He's played for the 49ers. He went to the USFL, then came back to the 49ers, had some injuries, had a bad shoulder, then a tackle and end, but a real good player for this 49er team.
Listed as a nose tackle, but he's playing defensive end now. Here's Humphrey. Michael Walter made the stop.
And the ironic thing, he's playing his last football game against the Denver Broncos, and he's going to go live in Denver. He was thinking of a good place to raise a family, and that's where he's going to take his family. He bought a house in Denver, and he's going to live in Denver. So he's playing his last game against the Broncos, and then he's going to move in with them.
2nd and 4. A lot of smiles on the 49er sideline. Elway chased out of the pocket by Stubbs, gets it to Melvin Bratton. And he gets the first down, goes out of bounds. Matt Millen.
Matt Millen, after he makes any tackle, always talks to the guy. He always has something to say, and he kind of baits those guys. Now watch him, after he tackles him, he talks to him, then he makes him push him or punch him. Now, when they do that, the official's supposed to call a penalty, and that's what Millen's trying to get. There's a guy on defense who enjoys playing football. Matt Millen was made to be a linebacker. He just loves playing.
And he's been reborn here, too.
You know, the Broncos are reduced to a point that they can't even get the snap from the center anymore. I mean, there were people that anticipated a blowout, and sometimes in these Super Bowls, you know, you say, oh, it's going to be a great game, and then it's not. And I think a lot of people thought this would be a blowout, and then it is. They can say, well, I told you it was going to be a blowout.
Well, you can always hope. Second and 11. Elway again chased out of the pocket. And down. Stubbs and Roberts. Backup defensive ends.
Yeah, the 49ers have so many good ones. You know, you got Pierce Holt, you got Kugler, you got Fagan, and then you bring in a Roberts and a Stubbs, and they're all good pass rushers. They're all strong guys. You know, some of them quick, some of them are bull rushers, but they can just keep throwing those defensive guys at you. And then when you have that offense to go with it, that's a pretty good sandwich.
Third down for Denver and 23. Winder taken from behind the line of scrimmage by Kevin Fagan. Loss of 6.
Yeah, I know sometimes you think, is there any way that you could just call off the game? I was having people say, well, one thing about them, they didn't quit. Well, of course they didn't quit. They don't let you quit. You got to play 60 minutes unless you tie.
Off the side of the foot of Michael Rand. We have 11:13 left now. And the 49ers leading Denver by the score of 55-10.
Believed by many to be the best title game ever, Super Bowl X matched Dallas against Pittsburgh. The Steelers wide receiver Lynn Swann was the game's MVP after catching for 161 yards on only 4 receptions. This bomb from Terry Bradshaw produced what many still consider to be the best catch ever.
Well, that game finished up 35-31, 66 points total, and that's the Super Bowl record. I think that might be the only one that's not been broken today. Right now, they only need one more point. Coach, you were with Tex Schramm earlier today, and you were talking about a new league.
Well, it's the World League of American Football, and they're thinking seriously of starting in 1991, and of course London is one of the possibilities. I had the good fortune to coach over there a couple of years ago against the 49ers, and we won the football game. But the crowd enthusiasm and the spirit that they had over there tells me that there are a lot of American football fans that live over in London, and there are a lot more in Europe.
Walter, do you have any friends that are going to be signing up to go over there that were playing and like to go? Maybe you could go back.
No, not at all. I don't know any of my guys that are playing. Most of them are still playing with the Bears. Hopefully they'll keep them there because they're a lot of young, good guys. It's going to be very exciting, and then when they do have a championship, it will be the World Championship.
That's right. Right now we call this the World Championship of American Football, but really it is an American sport, and let's hope it does grow to become the great sport that we already have here. I'm looking forward to seeing that expand and seeing all the guys back in England getting the chance to play American football on our home territory. Let's now go back to the field and our match commentators.
$11:13 left to play. Jerry Rice has got on the baseball cap.
Hey, they just couldn't handle Jerry Rice or anyone that went into the post today, and they had 4 touchdowns into the post. Look at those defensive backs over there, and they really put a blanket on those Bronco receivers. Elway didn't have much of a day, but he really didn't have too many guys open to throw to either.
Joe Montana still the quarterback for the 49ers. This is Flagler. Tackled by Rick Dennison.
Yeah, there's an amazing guy, Pat, right there. Pierce Holt, number 78, playing as well as he does in his second year. They're taking Montana out now. They finally took him out, and they're putting in Steve Young.
Montana was 22 out of 29, 297 yards, 5 touchdowns. Flagler again. Out by Brooks. And he goes to the 49er baseball cap. 5 touchdowns, a new Super Bowl single game record, and 22 out of 29. Super Bowl record set today. At almost every one conceivable. Third down for the 49ers. They need 14. Flagler and Sidney were the running backs for Young, who has all kinds of time. Pass is called incomplete. Intended to Wesley Walls. Vance Johnson will go back deep for Denver. Barry Helton will do the punting. (55-10), 9:43 left to play. Not much left to analyze, is there?
Well, I think we're going to be able to analyze the backup quarterbacks now.
Okay. Johnson lets it roll. Kubiak warming up now for Denver. 46-yard punt. Broncos will take over just inside their own 20. How it looks inside. They're having fun. Gary Kubiak is now the Denver quarterback. Long day for John Elway. Humphrey hit behind the line of scrimmage by Kevin Fagan.
Here's what they do with Joe Montana. He's always had that elbow problem, so it's a lot like a baseball pitcher. Once they finish the day, then they just kind of wrap it up and put it away. You got an arm like that, you just pack it around in some kind of case, then you wrap it up at the end and you put it away till next year.
Kubiak under pressure. And down by Pete Kugler.
I tell you, Kugler is thinking that this is his last game. Let's make this last one a good one. And here you are at the end of your career. You're playing your last game, and you might as well just fight that thing out to the end. Yeah, it always has to be a double-edged sword. On one hand, you're kind of happy that it's over. You are retiring. You're making your decision. But on the other hand, in fact, I talked to him in the streets about it the other night. You wonder if you're going to worry 5 years from now that maybe you left a year too early.
That's 49ers' 5th sack. Kubiak with play time this time. And the pass complete to Ricky Nattiel. Out to about the 43. Johnny Jackson made the stop.
Ricky Nattiel is a guy that has to have surgery in the offseason. He cracked a kneecap during the season, and they held him out, and they just rested him. He only caught 10 passes all year. As he said, it's just been kind of a lost and wasted year for him, and he hopes to have the surgery in the offseason, get the knee better, and come back and be a complete player again.
Kubiak again. Ball batted down. Hit by Haley. Deflected.
Here's a guy. When we were talking to John Elway yesterday, he says the key to the 49er defense is Charles Haley. That when they break the line, he wants to go up and find out where he is, because he's their most active guy, their best pass rusher, and where he lines up determines what they're going to do. And he's just one of those guys who is all over the place. He'll go inside, outside, bat balls down. A very active and very good player.
Winder is the lone setback. 2nd and 10. Kubiak throws behind Nattiel this time.
If you look at what the 49ers have done to the Denver quarterback, look, they've sacked him 5 times, hurried him 10 times, made him fumble once, batted 2 balls down and intercepted 2. So that is a statistic that shows what a good job the 49er defense has done today.
Elway finished 10 out of 26. Had 2 picked off. Only threw for 108 yards. And that was the key to their success going into the game. Kubiak from behind. By Daniel Stubbs, a loss of 1.
John Elway is going to take the heat, and this is his 3rd Super Bowl, his 3rd loss in a Super Bowl. But as he said, he would rather be there and take a swing at it. He also said before he's ever going to be considered a great quarterback, he knows that he has to win one of these things.
Taylor back. Fields the punt. Out to the 31, stopped by Tim Lucas. Getting ready in the 49er locker room, Huey Lewis and Eddie DeBartolo.
Yeah,
Jr.
This is Eddie DeBartolo, and there's Huey Lewis right there. They're getting the celebration done before the game. Still 6 minutes, 5 and 58 seconds. Huey Lewis and Eddie DeBartolo down there, they're waiting for the team to come in.
And we'll be in there as well after the game is over for the presentation of the championship trophy. the Lombardi Trophy. Each player, of course, will get the honor of being a member of the repeating Super Bowl champions and also $36,000. Flagler, a flag on the play.
Yeah, who said you can't repeat? Well, in fact, at the ring ceremony last year, when the 49ers got their rings, Joe Montana was the first guy to bring it up, and he said, let's repeat. Roger Craig already has the hat. They're still in the fourth quarter.
Number 66, offense.
Roger Craig is talking about three-peats. You hear that? It's a new word. You win a Super Bowl. Hey, good. You know. Then can you repeat? Then you repeat. Now you talk about three-peats.
Well, they certainly have got enough people to accomplish that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, look at that. They got the team of the decade there in the locker room already. They got hats, and I'm sure someone will make up a thing now for three-peats.
I like that. It's a good word.
Well, you got your Pete, your two Petes, and go for three Petes.
Will be their fourth Super Bowl championship. Flagler again, about the 33, or the 23, make that. Stopped by Warren Powers.
Tell you, there's the guys, that offensive line that really did the job today. They're protecting Joe Montana. Guy McIntyre going to a Pro Bowl, starting left guard.
Yeah, back to back. Now let's go for
The coordinating producer of Super Bowl number 24 is Charles H. Milton III. Boy, he did a heck of a job this week. Or on this event, I should say. It's to Harry Sidney. 7-yard pickup. Super Bowl 24 produced by Robert D. Stinner. Directed by Sandy Grossman. Super Bowl Today produced by Eric Mann. The Super Bowl Today directed by Duke Strupp. Senior producer David Winter. And the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. Hats off to all of them.
How about Jim Burt bringing his son out there, giving him 5 kisses in a row, and then handing him his helmet and telling him to sit on the bench? That's Super Bowl celebration.
Pass complete to Mike Sherrard. Jim Burt, another guy who found new life with the 49ers.
Tell you, he's getting more kisses from his son. That's a Super Bowl record. I remember when he played for the Giants, he brought his son down there, and it was headbutts in those days. Now, a few years later, it's kisses. Look at them, they're shaking hands, is introducing all the guys. You talk about a thrill. That's a thrill for the son, but I'll tell you, the dads have to be awfully happy, too.
Flagler, the ball carrier. Stopped by Andre Townsend. The clock running with 4:20 left to play, and the 49ers leading 55-10.
Yeah, but Jim Burt's the only guy that could do that pass. You see Tom Rathman, he's talking to Nord Hecker. Yeah, but Jim Burt's the only guy that could bring his son down there and have a Super Bowl record of father kissing son with pen and introduce him to all the linemen and the Super Bowl on the bench. He's still going. That's 11. Matt Millen says, where are my kids?
Where are my kisses?
Bring me some kids.
Flagler. Stopped by Rick Dennison. Gain of 10 and another first down. Tough day for Dan Reeves.
And there's no bigger gap in football than the difference between winning a Super Bowl, as this sideline is, and losing a Super Bowl, as this sideline. It's the biggest gap in sports.
It's just been announced to the crowd and to us that Montana is the unanimous Super Bowl MVP for the 3rd time, and that's another record. Trying to skip to the outside. Knocked out of bounds by Darren Carrington. They did DiBartolo has left the locker room.
He better watch out. I mean, hey, if you get a big old fullback and a tough guy like Tom Rathman squeezing you, pull you, you could just pop some vertebrae right out of your back if you're Eddie DiBartolo. But you know, one of the things about Eddie DiBartolo is these players really love this guy. I mean, they really do. And they said, the guy has so much money, he has everything. Joe Montana was saying, the only thing we can give him in return for what he does for us is the Super Bowl. That's the only thing he can't buy himself.
Sidney straight ahead, stopped by Warren Powers. We'll get the 2-minute warning before another play. That's it. So 2 minutes to go. 55-10, 49ers.
Kansas City Chiefs, but it'll be remembered for 65 toss power trap.
65 toss power trap. Look for 65 toss power trap. What does it look like?
Hey, look for our 65 toss power trap. Let's see what it looks like.
Gloucester, tell him 65 toss power trap. Get in there for 65 toss power trap.
Let's block.
Come on, let's get 7 points.
Come on, let's go.
65 toss power trap. That might pop wide open, Rats.
Get in there.
Yes, sir, Rats. Yes, sir, boys. Yes, sir, Rats. Let's go, baby. Yes, sir, Rats. Let's go. Yeah! The Mentor. 65 toss power trap. Yeah! Yeah! I tell you that, baby, is there. Yes, sir, boys.
A 65. Have you got that in your playbook, Coach?
No, not exactly like that. We've had some that worked, though, but Hank Stram was pretty happy about that. That was in a Super Bowl a long time ago, Kansas City against Minnesota.
That's right. That used to be when he had hair and eyesight. We've got the 49ers obviously repeated. How tough is that to do, Coach?
Well, it's tough. We did it in 1972 and 73. We're 17-0 and then 15-2. And I was pretty happy about those 2 years, but the 49ers, it just seemed like this year they got better and better. And when they got to the playoffs, they were awesome. Every game that they played was like they were giving a clinic on how to play football in all areas. Quarterback, defense, offense.
Well, Joe Montana can say, eat your heart out, Terry Bradshaw, as he gets 3 MVPs. Let's go back to
Want
the
to say it for Jeff Fuller, baby. We did it for you, Fuller. Number 1. We did it for you, baby. The whole team, it was for you. The best in the world.
That, of course, was Chet Brooks talking about Jeff Fuller, who was injured earlier in the season. He and Chet were great buddies, and still are. 3rd down for San Francisco. 2 minutes to go. Young gets away from the sack, gets away from another sack, gets a block. First down, out of bounds. Stops the clock after a scramble of 11 yards. Tina Turner celebrating. That was Wallace that got the block that sprung him.
That was Steve Wallace on Warren Powers, number 91. Watch it, it's going to happen. Wallace is number 74. He got his leg broken in last year's Super Bowl, but watch him. He's going to block 91 the second time around, right there. And I think Steve Wallace is one of the best tackles in football. He and Bubba Parrish share that left tackle position now for the 49ers, but I think that guy right there, 74, is one of the best in the game.
1st and 10. Young is just going to run it out as he kneels and does nothing else. Another happy man, Matt Millen.
Well, he was happy. He was waived. He was waived by the Raiders this year, picked up by the 49ers as a free agent, and now he ends up in the Super Bowl.
Tonight on CBS, John Schneider and Paul Rodriguez star as rival bail bondsmen out to catch a killer in the world premiere, the new CBS series Grand Slam. That, of course, after our post-game show when we'll be in both locker rooms. Young again, just kneels. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. A happy 49er day.
I tell you, if you're a football player, a football coach, football family, there's no higher honor than winning the Super Bowl. There's no better feeling than this feeling right now. Because this year, you're the best. George Seifert in his first year, and they can never take it away.
What a year they had. What a way to finish it.
Coming to you.
Dejected John Elway. A group of teammates that feel the same way he does. Filing into the locker room, it'll be a pleasant off-season for them. Well done. Down the stretch, they were just about perfect.
I think they were perfect in all areas and led by a guy who probably played as good a football as the game of football has ever seen.
These last three games, Minnesota, the Rams, and this one, the performance by Joe Montana was just almost unbelievable.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about being the best, because he said you save that until your career's over. And he said, I don't think that I'm over. I don't even think I'm close to being over.
He hopes to play, he said, until he's 40.
How would you like to be a kid getting a piggyback ride from your father off the field of a Super Bowl victory?
You hear me? No, he saved the house.
Isn't that something? The
Wow.
MVP of the Super Bowl, he has to go in and fix his own chair in the locker room.
3 times. The MVP. The final score again. The 49ers 55, the Denver Broncos 10. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 24.
Well, a good look there at the armor underneath the shirt of Joe Montana, and he really did deserve to get that 3rd MVP. Coach, looking at the end of the game, Young comes in, and he looks tremendous. How good are the 49ers?
Well, they do have good backups. They play a lot of people on both offense and defense. And there were some games this year where Montana couldn't play because of injury. And Young comes into the ball game, and he just does the things that are necessary to help win the football game. So he's a young, great athlete playing backup quarterback for the 49ers. Montana wants to continue to play, I'm sure of that. This team has more depth, more good players on both sides of the ball in all positions than any team that's played the game.
The best ever?
You'd have to say that they are right now. What they've done last year and then backing it up back-to-back Super Bowls, and the way that they played in these 3 playoff games, I'd have to say best ever.
Also, I know Mike Ditka would probably like to have Steve Young right now at quarterback in Chicago.
I'm telling you, you got to realize Steve Young was the #1 player selected when he came out of college, so he does have those credentials to being a good quarterback. He was with Tampa Bay for a while and tossed around, and now he's found a home with the 49ers, and he's content to play backup, and who wouldn't be?
Nobody's ever done it 3 times in a row. Can the 49ers?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Coach?
I wouldn't bet against them right now. I think the 49ers, if everybody... You know, we had the chance after 72 and 73, and we got into the playoffs and got beat in the playoffs by a great play by the Raiders. But I think the 49ers have a legit chance to go 3 in a row.
Well, I think they do as well. I think that Eddie DiBartolo, they kept showing him on the sidelines. The last game they showed him dishing out towels. But what he does best is manage people. And he puts the right people in the right position, and he's willing to pay for them. I hope that the rest of the owners in the NFL and the new owners in the NFL follow suit. We'll be back in just a minute after this break. Welcome back. For the three of us here, the 89 season holds many memories, as I'm sure it does for all of you. So right now, let's all sit back and enjoy a brief reminder of the sights and sounds of 89 in the NFL.
You know how I hate this. There's no way. In January. This was a cock-up.
We're going to do the Merino Monthly from my home here in Florida. That's where I live, right? So come with me.
And there he is. Hey, it's the Three Bears. What's up? Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, I won't be enjoying weather like this every week because I'll be following the Queen City of the West as the weather of Manchester. And Mick, if you're laughing at these earmuffs, let me tell you that this is New York's coldest December for 76. And you smile and pretend you're having a good time.
We have to... Man, I just screwed up a little bit. God.
There, look, my friend.
Because we are absolutely...
Chicago will be out for revenge this week.
We're certainly no great team. I don't know who we can beat.
They did a great job. I'm thinking about buying them dinner.
You are.
I think I am. Maybe Wendy's or something.
Oh, I would have said something to Buddy, but he wouldn't stand on the field long enough. He put his big fat rear end into the dressing room.
Jackson chasing Slaughter, spins, stays on his feet.
Put a fork in the Bears. They're done.
By slipping up and using drugs.
He's good. The Pittsburgh Steelers have upset the Houston Oilers.
trophy. Paul?
Brent, nice to be here on a special day. Eddie, I know you're wet, but let me just say this. Today, the 49ers finished their trip to becoming one of the elite teams in the history of the National Football League. You've won your second straight Super Bowl game. The team did it in dominating fashion, as you've done in the playoffs, as you did it throughout the season. You've won your fourth Super Bowl in a decade, even less than a decade, tying the Steelers as the only team in the history of the league to win 4 Super Bowls. And you are clearly, at this time, the 49ers are the team of the decade, and they're starting the 90s looking like the team of the 90s. I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate all the players, Coach Seifert, and your entire staff. Congratulations.
Well, it looks like their fourth was as good as their first. As you said, your first was as good as your sixth. Coach, we just saw memories of the '89 season. Does it hold anything special for you?
Well, it does, because we started out poor. We were one win and 3 losses in our first game. Then we won 6 out of our last 7, then lost 4 out of our 5 to knock us out of the playoffs. But going back to that game that we played in the rain against the Pittsburgh Steelers, that was really the key game as far as the Miami Dolphins were concerned. We've got high hopes for the future. We hope that we're back in this game. I'd like to challenge the 49ers next year.
Well, I would like to see that. Walter, how about you? Any memories from last season?
I'll tell you what, the one that stands out is the decline of the Chicago Bears at such a rapid pace. And I look back and I look at the team that played here in Super Bowl 20 and the team that was playing this year. And the team this year was supposed to be better, and they had better personnel in key spots, but they were so young. Those are the things that stands out. This game here will probably be one of the things that really epitomizes the San Francisco's climb to the top.
Coach, this next year really marks the first year for Paul Tagliabue as the commissioner. He's coming in. He's going to start a new era. Away from Miami, what do you have to look forward to in the league as a whole?
I think they made a wise choice when they picked Paul Tagliabue as the commissioner. He's been around the National Football League as their legal attorney for many, many years, and he knows the workings of the National Football League. And I've been very impressed with what he's done since he's taken over. So I think that they're going to be very aggressive. I think that they want to get a bargaining agreement with their players. I think that there is the possibility of expansion in the future, the World League of American Football in the future. The game is a great game, and we just, you hate to see Super Bowls that aren't competitive like the one that we saw today, but the game itself is an outstanding game, and I think Paul Tagliabue is going to be a great commissioner. I think Pete Rozelle was a great commissioner in the years that he led the National Football League.
Walter, I saw your eyes light up when Coach Schuler mentioned expansion. Now, the new television contract is coming, multiple billions of dollars. They're thinking it might be as much as $40 million per owner that will be dished out just for television alone. But they're talking about $125 million to get in. Are you going to have that this year?
Tell you what, if they came up and said we're going to expand, we would have it, and more.
So what do you have to look forward to for the next season?
Well, me, I'm still, like you said, in pursuit of an NFL franchise, and that will be a lot of hard work in terms of politicking, getting myself aligned with the right people in terms of dealing with the owners and the league and the commissioner. Hopefully we can turn things around.
Well, I hope that next season is a great one for both of you. I appreciate you being with me and look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you. Enjoyed being on with you, and I know that we have a lot of great fans in London, and it was good to spend some time with them here this evening.
All right, well, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
And personally, I look forward to seeing the Detroit Lions improving and being a better team, and my old team, the Atlanta Falcons, with Jerry Glanville, coming out from this fella. Well, that brings us to the end of this season of American football here on Channel 4, other than our highlights of Super Bowl 24 that you can see tomorrow night at 6 p.m. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage and will join us again next season. The next 2 big events in the NFL are next Sunday's Pro Bowl in Hawaii and the college draft at the end of April. I'll have a special report on both of those on Monday the 7th of May, so I hope you can join me then. If not, I look forward to seeing you next season. So until then, from Don Shula, Walter Payton, and myself, good night.